actually have an NXT preview for us to get our teeth into. So let's have a look and see if I can find an NXT preview. Okay, this is the go-home show, of course, for Deadline. So there's not loads in the way of a preview. There's not loads of stuff for us to actually get our teeth into. So what we're dealing with is we're dealing with a summit. We're going to have a summit. So we're going to have Sol Ruca, Kelani Jordynne, Lola Vice, Kendal Gray, and Jordynne Grace. They're all going to be together on stage doing a little summit, a little bit of a promo exchange ahead of their Iron Survivor elimination match. As well as that, we have also got another match that's coming up. Josh Briggs against Tavion Heights. So Josh Briggs takes on Tavion Heights. We got the Women's Iron Survivor Summit. Doesn't say anything about a men's summit. So we don't have anything in that regards. We should get some build for Deadline. So we should be seeing Oba and Ricky. We probably will get some update in regards to Izzy and Tatum. She said she was going to give us an update. She said she was going to tell us why. So I would imagine that we'll get that as well. It's lovely to be back to a live show. Obviously, last week it was taped. Last week was all that drama of having to stop and start and try and get in sync with the commercials and all of that nonsense, right? So it's lovely to be back live, not having to faff around. Very much looking forward to getting our teeth into this episode of NXT. And yeah, you know, today has had a few bits and bobs news-wise. We can obviously touch on those bits if people want to. The sad news, of course, being about Larry. And the thing with the Larry situation, so if you've not heard, CM Punk's dog, Larry, has passed away. Some of you in the chat were saying you wondered if something was wrong during Survivor Series and the War Games match. CM Punk came out with his jacket that said Larry's dad's. And there was a moment where he was kind of with the fans. And I think he was doing this. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was a weird thing to do when you, I don't know, like, some people looked at it of like, I'm going to war. Let's go. Some people said, I hope everything's okay. Because that's a bit of an unusual gesture. Like, to touch Larry's dad. And it was funny, actually, because there was a few people that made those comments. There wasn't enough in it for me to, you know, kind of really expand on it. I mean, it's just speculation. But now word has sadly come out that Larry had or has passed away. I don't know if he'd passed at that point. I don't know if he was ill or if he had already passed. I haven't heard the details. I just know that obviously a statement has come out saying he's passed away. So obviously thoughts, I mean, very much go to CM Punk and go to AJ Lee. I mean, the emotion of losing a pet and the emotion that they must be going through as a result. I mean, R.I.P. Larry is trending. And, you know, it's just really heartbreaking news, isn't it? Just it's heartbreaking news. I was really sad to read that. It's always sad when a pet passes away. The other news, though, in more positive news, TNA has gone to AMC, or will go to AMC, on January 15th. So they've managed to get themselves a pretty tasty TV deal, to be honest. That apparently goes to 60 million homes. So, I mean, it seems like a really good deal for them, for their distribution. I mean, that's, you know, that's putting them up there with the big boys. And I'd imagine that's going to have a real positive impact on their viewing figures. So, yeah, congrats to them. That starts in January. Right, Hasib, hello. Hasib said, Daze, do we think people in wrestling don't respect the intelligence from the vast majority of wrestling fans? Triple H, Tony Khan, they always say that a show or a segment is must-see, but they never are. I don't know that they don't respect the intelligence. I think it's probably more to do with the fact that they're promoters. You know, they work in creative, but they're also promoters. So, you know, their job is first and foremost, really, to get people to tune into the show, isn't it? That is really what the most important thing is. The network want as many viewers as possible. WWE want as many eyes on the product as possible. And, I mean, if you say something's epic and it's not epic, you're going to get a reputation for being a liar. You're going to take a bit of a knock to your reputation. But you are also probably going to have bumped the rating a little bit. And it's not something that you can do on a regular basis. But if you think back to Tony Khan saying, I've got a big announcement, everyone would tune in to see what that announcement was. And then, of course, you'd be like, oh, God, it wasn't that big. And then everyone would kick off about it. But he did that more than once. And he did get people to tune in to the show. I'm not saying that he was doing that on purpose. But what I am saying is that when he said it, it did, work. Until it got to the point where people are like, I just don't believe this anymore, right? And, of course, people are going to get to that point with Triple H as well. If you're going to say something's epic and it is not epic, you're going to be the boy that cried wolf, aren't you? And so it's an interesting one because I don't know the honest answer. I don't know if he truly thought that show was going to be epic, right? And in his mind, it was epic. But in our minds, it was not epic. I mean, it was fine. It was good. I'm not down on the show. I enjoyed watching Raw. I thought it was fine. Yeah, I thought there was talking points that came out of it, and honestly, I was not personally down on the show. There was enough that I took from it that was enough for me to go forward. I feel like there's a few new feuds that have been shown. I thought there was some decent matches. I thought Bron Breakker's promo was interesting. People's thoughts on that, interesting. Some people really loved it. Some people not as keen, actually. I thought it was good. I didn't think it was mind-blowingly amazing, but I thought it was the best promo I've seen from Bron Breakker. If we are looking at improvements, if we're looking at presentation, if we're looking at where we could be going and what the future might look like, I think there were some glimpses of that in that promo. Maybe it wasn't all throughout the promo, or maybe for you it was. But I thought there were at least glimpses. Just like with his entrance at Survivor Series, there were glimpses. And this is someone that I've criticised in the past, because I've said when he comes down, his music hits and he comes down and he's like spearing people. I don't feel the aura. I don't feel that, oh my God, there's a problem that's just arrived. I don't think the way they've been using Bron is very good. I just don't feel like he's been presented as a big star in some of the things they've been doing. And for me, his aura was lacking. But I actually thought Survivor Series, with his entrance and parts of that promo, I could see what they were going for, and I could see what they were the level they were trying to get him to. So that was my takeaway from the promo. So in regards to, do they think the fans are just stupids and all this kind of stuff? I can't tell if Triple H genuinely thought when he looked at what was on that show, if he thought, man, there's so much stuff here. We've got the semi-finals of the tournament. We got championship matches. We've got loads of stars on the show. Liv Morgan's back. This is going to be so much fun. I don't know if he was just, and so he used the word epic, right? Which is not the right word to describe that show. And if he was being serious, or if he was just trying to get people to tune in, like forget Survivor Series, tune into Raw. It's going to be epic. It's going to be so good. And he just said that as a way of just sort of getting people to tune in and just sort of hope that they enjoyed what they watched. Kind of like the way I've come out of it going, okay, it wasn't epic, but it was still a pretty fun show, right? So I think if that's the takeaway, he probably doesn't mind that too much. If you're there going, oh, it wasn't epic, but, well, do you know what? It was probably worth watching. It was all right, actually. So I don't know what he was going for. I don't know what he was trying for. What I do know is that just judging by how many people joined us on the stream yesterday compared to normal, it felt like there was more people around. I think that epic comment did land, and I think it did work. And you can't do it too many times because you'll get a reputation. I think Triple H probably already has that reputation. But I've got to say, I think it worked in regards to bumping the number, in regards to bumping the rating. Just judging by how many people joined us. Normally we get about, 15, 16,000 people that join us during a Raw stream. And I think yesterday it clicked up to 22,000. So, I mean, it was a noticeable increase. We saw a good number. I mean, maybe some of that was that people just enjoyed hanging with us for Survivor Series. And hopefully they did. And hopefully people had a good time and enjoyed sharing their thoughts and reading your comments, right? And so as a result, people came back for Raw. Maybe it was that. Maybe it wasn't anything to do with the epic comment. Perhaps they just enjoyed our community. But I don't know. I think part of it probably did have to do with the hype around that show. Because what happens when you make a comment like that is there are so many outlets on social media now that talk about wrestling that people start speculating as to what it might be. And so all of a sudden, you start to just get all these thoughts and theories, and it just sort of grows. And you know what I mean? Like, all of a sudden, it's like, man, we might get Jericho. Perhaps they didn't do Jericho at Survivor Series, so they're going to do it at Raw. Perhaps we're going to get Edge. You know, they didn't do it there. They're going to save it here. Perhaps there's an NXT call-up. Perhaps we're going to find out the identity of that mystery man. Perhaps there's another return lined up. Perhaps this is where we do the turn. And so all of a sudden, you've got these people now starting to speculate what this could mean. And of course, that just fuels the excitement, which then means people tune in, which is really the most important thing for them. But it's not something you can go back to time and time again, is it? Daze, I got my hopes up. I was disappointed that the greatest WWE champion, Jinder Mahal, did not show at Survivor Series. Dare I say, the greatest combat sports champion of all time, even better than Muhammad Ali. Well, they did tease us, didn't they? They did tease us. They did show us his graphic. And, you know, that was another way that they kind of teased, wasn't it? That wasn't a Triple H thing, though. From what I heard, they knew that people were filming. They knew that this stuff was leaking. And so they had a bit of fun with it. So I don't think that was like from Triple H, though. I think that was just from people in the production truck that did the Edge stuff and whatever. So very cheeky. Very cheeky. Rent-Free said, Daze, what do we think about Brett's comments on Vince and Shawn? I think I don't know if he doesn't actually believe them. I wouldn't be surprised if Vince was sleeping with other male wrestlers, says Rent-Free. Well, I mean, all I could tell you is that Jim Ross has come out and said it's a load of rubbish, right? People have come out and said, no, that's absolutely not true. Brett, I don't know. Brett is just really angry at the world. I think if it was from someone that was less angry, if it was from someone that maybe wasn't constantly going off on wrestlers and the company, and I mean, do you know what I mean? I was so surprised when Brett turned around and said that he was not a fan of Gunther because of Gunther's chops. He was like, in wrestling, you're meant to make moves look like they hurt, not actually do moves that do hurt. Like, that's not professional wrestling. And he's right in that regard, isn't he? But it's interesting that, like, that is a deal breaker for him. And, you know, Brett even said, I've had words with Gunther about this. You know, that's not what you should be doing. So, like, Brett seems to be upset with everyone. He's upset with Goldberg. He's upset with Shawn. He's upset with Vince. He's going off on Gunther. I mean, short of having a pop at CM Punk, I'm not sure who he's not upset with. So, I don't know. Brett just seems to be quite bitter, resentful. I don't know if he has kind of convinced himself that that's true. There's no evidence that he's got for it. There's no evidence. He's just kind of saying, I think I got caught between a lover's tiff. Like, that would explain it. But there's absolutely no evidence that he's got the, like, you know, he didn't walk in on them one day and they were doing something or whatever. It's because there's no evidence and because it's from someone so bitter, I personally don't think there's anything to it. So yeah, I mean that there's just nothing. There's no evidence. There's nothing tangible to get your teeth into to go, okay, well that's interesting. He just came out with it, and I don't know. I just think Brett's in a bit of a bad place. I saw Booker T making some comments. He was like, I wish Brett would just let this stuff go. Like, it's not hurting Brett's legacy, but like, you know, one day you're going to bump into people. And I know Brett probably doesn't care about that, but we would all love for Brett to be a part of WWE family, yeah? We would all love for Brett to, you know, be at like Saturday night's main event and appear at, you know, SummerSlam or be on those kind of legend shows, or like we want Brett to be, you know, he's a legend. We want him to be part of WWE, but he just comes out with these comments and it's just, I don't know, he's just kind of on the outside, isn't he? He does his fan conventions, he does his interviews with like Inside the Ropes and whatever, comes out with these kinds of comments, and you can sort of understand why WWE is then not going to be interested in, you know, if they go to Canada, having Brett in the crowd or having Brett like do a ring introduction, and it's like it just keeps one of our legends on the outside of the company. He's not bothered about it seemingly, but I just think it's a shame. So I don't without any evidence or anything, I mean, there's just nothing. There's nothing to say, really. I just think Brett's in a bad place. Alex said, happy to say you was my top channel of 2025. Alex, thank you, my friends. I really appreciate that. Well, more in 2026. You know, I am really trying to find a way of turning up the fun dial. We do have those Wrestle Feud shorts coming, which I'm hoping people will enjoy. They've been really fun to film. We've been doing that on the members side. So, yeah, not only will the shorts be like little reaction clips, but we will have some Wrestle Feud bits as well, which, you know, it seems like over the past few years, people have really been enjoying those kind of games. You see a lot of that when people go and they meet the wrestlers and they're like, put these wrestlers in order. I saw one asking Triple H about rank these foods that begin with the letter M or something. I mean, you see these all over TikTok and all over, you know, whatever. So, I know that there's been wrestling ones, but yeah, you know, we'll try and bring some different stuff. I need to get toy hunts back as well. I mean, I really wanted to get one done before Christmas, and I'm still going to try and do that. But that is a whole side of the channel that really needs to wake up. So, yeah, well, if you enjoy what we do, brilliant. I would like to try and get some more fun stuff on the channel. Appreciate it, Alex. Sam Rye said, what do we think about the women's tag titles? Well, a lot of you have said TLC, and I'm really down for that. I think that would be so good. I think that would be so much fun. I think if we did do TLC, then I think that that would be fair as well, because we did it twice for the men this year, and we haven't done it for the women. So that would be really, really fun. So hopefully, something along those lines. Hopefully, it would be a case where we could get... hopefully, it's a case that we could get the women to a match like that. I want to get the copy responder link. How do I do this? I want to put up the questions for tomorrow's Wrestle Feud. We've only had 33 responses. We definitely need more responses. Copy responder link. Okay, I think they've just moved it. Okay, in the chat, there is a link to the Wrestle Feud questions. We've done it before. So it's where I get your answers to some fun questions that I then ask the members. You will see the responses and little short videos. So it does go towards some future content that's going to come onto the channel, right? So the questions. So the questions are, what's your favorite PLE match of 2025? What's your don't answer it here. Answer it in the spreadsheet. But what's your favorite PLE match of 2025? WWE one, right? What's the worst PLE match of 2025? And I'm really interested to see the answer on that. What's the funniest ever WWE crowd chant that you've heard? What's the funniest one? What's the best ever pay-per-view opening match? So what match has been the best opener ever, right? What's the worst gimmick of all time? What do you think was the very worst gimmick? So when we say gimmick, you know, was it Big Boss Man being a policeman? Was it Nails being a prisoner? Was it Godfather being a pimp? You know, was it Undertaker being, you know, Undertaker? What do you think is the worst gimmick ever? And what is the most undeserving championship reign? What do you think is the most undeserving championship reign of all time? I'm interested in that as well, because that's one that I'd been thinking of recently. And there wasn't loads that came to my mind. So this is where I like to reach out to the community and see. And you will see the answers to all of these when we do like the quiz and the thing comes out. So yeah, that's all that form is. It's linked at the top there. It asks you those 6 questions, and you basically drop your answer in for those. And then I do a quiz with it with the members. Okay, Brett talks about Goldberg's kick, but doesn't mention that he continued wrestling for like a month afterwards. He even had a hardcore match with Terry Funk after that kick, says Glockness. Akeem said, I talked to Hacksaw and Tugboat at a convention. I brought up the rumor. They said they heard that Vince had taken advantage of HBK when he was out cold and naked in the locker room. That's the rumor amongst them. Well, again, they've heard something, you know. There's no evidence. There's no one's got anything tangible. And, you know, like how boys are and the rumors circulate. That doesn't mean anything to me. Hi, everyone. Heard a rumor that NXT and TNA could end the partnership. Could be false. Fightful have said they are continuing, says Aaron. Not heard anything, but... Not heard anything. I mean, as far as I know, everything's been good. I mean, obviously, there is this big development in regards to AMC. So, I don't know if that's changed anything, but that's been the big announcement for TNA today. So, I don't know. I mean, is it that CW doesn't want to help promote a product that would be on AMC? Or, I don't know. I wouldn't think that would be an issue, but I've not heard anything on that front. Daze, where's the Christmas tree? Oh, yeah, that's a good point, actually. I do have one, but I wonder if it deleted it. It did, you know. It did. I had, you know, all year I've had a Christmas tree here, just hidden, right? Just, like, not visible. And all I have to do is make it visible, and I was ready. And I was so smug, because I was like, mate, I don't need to do any work for Christmas. I've literally just got to press that button and bang, it'll appear. And it's been there all year. I've had it since last year. I really liked how it looked. And then, of course, you might remember a little while ago, I was cleaned up my computer because it was starting to slow down. And it was actually crashing a couple of times. So I was like, oh, this isn't normal. So I cleaned up my computer and it deleted all my files in my download folder. And I'm really rubbish at organizing files. So it has deleted the Christmas tree. So I'm glad you mentioned that, because that was one of those weird little jobs that I kept thinking like, oh, you need to make that, you need to press that button. You need to make that Christmas tree visible. But it's been deleted. So, can I download another Christmas tree PNG file? I should be able to. Bear with. Talk amongst yourselves. Christmas tree. Okay, how does this look? Not very good. I mean, that looks okay. I probably will find a better definition one because it looks a little bit low definition. But, well, at least it gives it some sort of Christmas vibe. So, but I think I could probably find a higher res one. My old one was so much better. I'm actually disappointed that this one is so rubbish. It'll do. It'll do. Daze, what if the Montreal Screwjob never happened? Would Vince still become evil, Mr. McMahon? And would the Attitude Era take off? And where do we rank Brett all time, said King Gamer. I don't really have a ranking of like 1 to 10. I've got it more as like S tier, A tier, B tier. I think that works a little better because obviously it's a bit easier. I do not have Brett S tier. I think the reason for that is because he never quite got given the ball. I mean, he was champion, but it was at a bad time. You know, it was during the new generation, and that is one of the worst periods for WWE. You know, and then by the time we're really getting into the Attitude Era, Brett's gone. So I think Brett, promo-wise, I think could have done with a bit of work, right? I think even he would say promo is the area that lets him down. In-ring is one of the all-time greats. I mean, if you're going to rank on in-ring, is S tier, right? No doubt in my mind, S tier. But add in the promo that kind of drags it down. I think his look is pretty good, like the electric pink. You see black and pink, you think Brett. So, I mean, that, you know, being synonymous with him is obviously a really powerful presentation. Best there is, best there was, best there always ever will be. And the glasses, those, you know, he's got a little kind of a catchphrase. And he's got the glasses. I've got him as being like a really strong A. I think the promo drags him down. Might have been better if he was a bit bigger, of course. You know, size-wise, I don't think that his size helped him, let's put it that way. Not at that time when Vince was looking for the next Hogan or was trying to figure out, should I go with Brett or Lex Luger? I mean, Lex Luger had the look that Vince wanted, but he couldn't wrestle like Vince wanted. Brett had the wrestling. I mean, really, Vince would have loved for Lex Luger and Brett to have had a love child, and then that way he could have had the looks of Lex, and he could have had the wrestling ability of Brett, and the presentation of Brett. And, you know, I think that would have been like a better combo for Vince. So, yeah, I've got Brett being like an high-end A tier, but, I mean, he doesn't get into like that Roman level. He doesn't get into that Cena level. He doesn't get into that Stone Cold level, which is, for me, the S tier, where they had the promos, they had the wrestling ability. Maybe the wrestling wasn't as good as Brett, but it was still very, very good. You still saw, like, really fun matches, and, you know, it was exciting. So, I love Brett. I mean, definitely, if you do say a top 50 WWE wrestlers, he definitely makes that list. Top 40, I would expect him to make that list. Top 30, I think he makes that list. To be honest, I think he makes the top 30. Top 20 is maybe where it starts to get... I start to wonder. Top 10, I'm not sure. So top 20, I think I could get him in at 20 or 19. Just rough ballpark. Rough ballpark. So I like him. I like him a lot. I mean, you know, I must have seen thousands of wrestlers, and I'm talking about him being like top 20. He doesn't make Mount Rushmore. In regards to what would happen if there was no Montreal Screwjob, I think the Attitude Era would have been different. I think we would have still got to... Would we have got to Vince? Maybe not. I think the Attitude Era still would have been Stone Cold, Rock, Triple H. I think all of that still would have played the way it would have played. But I wonder if, like, Triple H and Stephanie would have just been the heels. I think Stephanie still would have found her way in the business because that was a story kind of separate from Vince. And that was a story of like Triple H getting with Steph. And Steph, I think, because she was so attractive, would have found her way on TV anyway. And she is Vince's daughter. And people knew of Vince. So I think that her being like Vince's daughter, her being in a position of power, her being an attractive girl that I think would have made it on TV anyway. I think you would have had the McMahon-Helmsley era anyway. That era obviously is, a little bit into, you're a good few years past the Montreal Screwjob at that point. I think that's more like late 2000-ish. And then you've got like the Montreal Screwjob at the end of 97. So 98, 99 would have been very interesting. That's very Stone Cold Vince. I can only imagine it would have been Stone Cold against some heels like Triple H. And that you would have actually, I don't think Vince would have become that character at that time. If he would have done it eventually, we'll never know. But I think it would have been that it would have just been more traditional babyface heel stuff. Stone Cold, would he have got as big? Questionable. If he would have got as big if Vince wasn't as around, I think he still would have made an impact. People still loved Stone Cold at that time. Austin 316 was massive. And, that was, I want to say, 96? King of the Ring? Austin 316. And the next day, like, loads of people wearing the Austin 316 shirts. So, Stone Cold was already big by that time. And I think they would have still had a real successful boom periods. I think a lot of it probably would have been the same. I think you still would have got the McMahon-Helmsley era. But I think it would have just had a bit of a change where Vince, I don't think would have come in at that time. And I think we would have just had to have run with, I don't know, like heel Undertaker against Stone Cold and Triple H against Stone Cold. We would have just leaned on all of that traditional babyface heel stuff. And then, maybe Vince would have got in when Stephanie arrived, and perhaps he would have got a bit more involved at that point. So I feel like there would be a change, but it's impossible to know how great that change would have been. But I still predict there would have been a boom period. I think there was just too much that was going on anyway. It's just that cherry on top that was McMahon Austin, we probably wouldn't have got that at the very beginning like we did. Sean said, do we think that Nia and Lash aren't mentioned the day after War Games where they were the anchor of the team? Well, they're SmackDown stars, aren't they? They're over on SmackDown. So don't really think too much about it. I think that we're moving on. We're moving forwards. So I think that that's what they're trying to do with that ending of Raw is they're trying to get the women's tag team titles to be a real focus with loads of teams going after it. I mean, it feels like they're trying to do to that what they were trying to do for the men. And this is why a lot of people are saying TLC match, right? Because there's so many teams around. I mean, it's great for the tag division. It's just a bit bizarre that there is so much talent going after tag belts. It's just a little bit strange for belts that are largely very underwhelming. Belts that historically don't really mean anything. Has got Bayley, Asuka, Charlotte, Rhea, Io, like all of these names circling around those tag titles. Just a bit strange. But no, I think like we've just moved the story forwards where we've moved now to that and we're focused on that. And I think like Lash, Nia, they're just over on SmackDown. Why they're not a part of that? I mean, perhaps it's just a bit too crowded. I mean, we've got 5 teams. So Charlotte and Alexa, they are the former champs. So they've got a right to be in that match. Rhea and Io, of course, are going to be in that match. So those 2 teams make sense. We're over on Raw, so putting Judgment Day in is a no-brainer. Plus, you've just brought Liv Morgan back. There's 3 women there. So, I mean, that to me is a no-brainer that they would be the third team. You've got to put the Kabuki Warriors in because they're the champs. So that's your fourth team. And so, I mean, I suppose it just comes down to, do you put in Bayley and Lyra that did not feature at Survivor Series? Or do you put in Lash and Nia, who did feature at Survivor Series? So I think 5 teams is enough. I don't think you need to go 6 teams. I don't think there's any conspiracy. I just think that they're over on SmackDown. We're probably going to use them for summer over on SmackDown. And it looks like we're going to run with those 5 teams on Raw. Jared said, would Rock have been a success if Austin had not needed time off with his neck injury in like late 99 and early 2000? Yeah, Rock would have been a success anyway. I think that Austin having that time off was great for him, obviously. But there was already like shoots and signs that he was starting to, really get momentum. If you actually compare where The Rock was at that time to the whole Die Rocky Die stuff when he first arrives at the end of 96, I mean, we're in a very drastically different place with The Rock at that point. So I do think he would have gone on to have been a big star anyway. I mean, he had that natural charisma, and that was coming through. Whether it would have took him a little bit longer or it would have been a different path, I think it probably. But I think he would have made it anyway. His charisma, his natural charisma would have shone through, and he was making momentum at that time anyway. I mean, he was like a top star. He was someone that was kind of there or thereabouts, but that was a really good period for him to really show what he could do whilst Austin was absent. So, yeah, I think it would have largely ended up the same. It's just it would have been a little bit delayed and maybe a different path for him to have really shown what he could do. Keep the Dream said, do we think the main event scene has got an age issue? No. I don't think it's got an age issue. I think that it's difficult because the main event scene is a little older, but where do you draw the line of saying, okay, these people are not the future, so we're going to stop now? There's a couple of different schools of thought, right? I think it takes a long time to get someone over. I think if you watch wrestling a lot, you can fall into a bit of a trap of thinking that people are big stars when they're actually not. Bron Breakker, we've been talking about Bron Breakker so much that it's quite easy to think that he's this massive star, this big name. Everyone knows Bron Breakker, right? Everyone knows he's the future. That's not true. Like, hardcore fans that watch all the time know he's the future. We know that they're trying to push him, but there are so many casual fans out there that don't watch the Raws and the SmackDowns, but they might tune in for, a Survivor Series or a SummerSlam or a WrestleMania or a Royal Rumble. So many people that just check in like, oh, the WrestleMania's on this weekend. Fancy coming around? We'll give it a watch. Well, I don't know anyone that's in it. Oh, neither do I, but should be good. WrestleMania, Roman's on it. That's kind of where a lot of casual fans are. To them, Bron Breakker means nothing. Nothing. So you're having to build these people and showcase them on these big shows so that people get used to seeing them, and you're hyping them, and you're making them, I mean, this was a great weekend for Bron. That entrance was amazing at Survivor Series. He gets the pin on CM Punk, right? Which might have got lost in the shuffle a little bit, but then he cuts a very passionate promo on Raw. If anyone did tune in this weekend for the wrestling, wanted to watch Raw as the follow-up to Survivor Series, I think they've seen some of the best stuff that Bron's done this year in this weekend. And so that's a great time to make an impression like that. So I think for me, it takes a long time to build these people, to build their aura, to get these people over with fans. And I think that, when you've got the likes of Roman, Cody, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, these people that, we've done that work, that hard work of building these people and making them big names. You get to the point now where they're in their mid-40s and they're getting towards the end of their career, And there is rightfully people saying we need to inject some new blood in there, which I agree with. But to abandon those names and just go with all new name, like, that is crazy. I mean, that is your star power. You've spent so long building these people that now you're just going to throw them away. I mean, people tune in for Roman, people tune in for Punk, people tune in for Cody. Like, these are the names that drive the ratings. To throw them away and not utilize them would just be like business suicide. So you need to tread careful where, yeah, you know, you need to find a way of getting Braun into that mix, Gunther into that mix, but you've still got to use Roman, Punk, you know? You've still got to find a way of utilizing those, because you've done all that work, and this is where you're reaping the reward now. So, you know, if you're WWE, there was a lot of times where you were showcasing Cody, and it probably felt like you were flogging a dead horse, you know? There was a lot of times where Cody was getting TV time as Stardust, or when he was doing, like, the dashing character, and you do it because we believe in him, he's going to be one for the future, right? And it wasn't, you know, it wasn't working. I mean, with Bron Breakker, he's had a load of TV time since he's come up to the main roster. A lot of us have criticised the Visions booking, but you get him on TV and you try stuff, and some of it works and some of it doesn't. And, you know, you just work hard to try and get these people over. And the thing is, once they're over, that's where they start generating money and views for you, right? When they're over, that's where they start to sell some serious merch. That's where they start to move the needle on the ratings. And really, WWE is trying desperately to get people to that level. They are trying to get people over. Not everyone. They're not trying to get Akira Tozawa over, right? It's not everyone they're trying to get over, but the ones they've identified that they think have got the right look, the right presentation, you know, they're the ones that WWE get behind. I mean, you know, they wanted Roman over and they pushed him really hard. And they tried to push him as a babyface. And it just wasn't connecting with everyone. But they were so adamant, this is the guy. I mean, it really clicked when he turned heel and joined the Bloodline and started the Bloodline. That was when it really, like, all the pieces fell into place. And now that it's over, how do you not use Roman? How do you not use Cody? I mean, when people say, do you think the main event scene is too old? What they're saying is that we should not be focusing on the people we're focusing on. So we shouldn't be focusing on Cody, Roman, Punk anymore. They need to go. And we need to focus on Javon Evans and Trick Williams and Obafemi and all of those guys. And that we should be focused on them. But the truth is that you got to build them. I mean, you put those names in the main event scene, what casual fan is going to tune in? Because they ain't going to know. Oba and Trick, they're not going to have any connection. They're not going to care. So you've got to build those stars and make those connections. Otherwise, you're just going to be a company with a load of stars that most people have not heard of. So it's about... I'm not worried about how the aging main event scene, but it is about introducing new names in amongst those names. Just like how it's rumored that we're going to get Braun versus CM Punk at WrestleMania. I know we're doing it in January, but I mean, that can easily be a feud that leads to the blow-off match being at WrestleMania, right? We've seen that many times. So, you know, if that is what we're going to do, then that would get you Braun into that picture. It's about, like, do you do Brock against Gunther because that's Brock Lesnar that everyone knows against the person we're hoping is going to be the next big monster. So Brock, Gunther would make sense. Punk, Braun would make sense. And then if your other match is going to be Cody Roman, which I'm not a fan of, but because we've seen it before, well, fine. Okay, that gets them up there as well, doesn't it? So I don't think we've got an aging main event problem. I think what we just need to do is just find ways of, you know, introducing some of that newer talent in there. And I would say if, like, if they weren't delivering great matches, then I would say we got a problem, right? But, you know, Cody, I think, has probably got another good 3 to 5 years in him. Roman, probably about 3 to 5 years as well. CM Punk, I just think is a bonus ball anyway. I mean, if CM Punk, we wasn't really ever expecting him to return. So I think anything we get out of Punk now is just a bonus that we should just enjoy. And I think it's a real shame that there's people out there that aren't enjoying it. So for me, like, we've waited so long for CM Punk to return, and he has now. We should just be, like, really celebrating the fact he came back and we're getting some extra CM Punk moments, you know? Rather than, like, oh, he's too old and all this. Oh, my God, come on, man. Come on. That's such a shame, you know, that people have, like, took that approach. So for me, like, Cody, couple of years, he's been at the top now. Not even quite that. You can make an argument that. But he won the top title at WrestleMania 40. We're not quite at 42 yet. So, you know, a couple of years he's been at the top. I mean, I've watched him climb a mountain, and now he's at the top. I'm really not ready to kick him off. I don't think anyone would say that Roman should be kicked off. He's got the most aura out of anyone in the company. CM Punk, I just think it's really great that we got some bonus CM Punk moments. Not really like, thanks for coming back, mate. Bang, off you go. Bye. Brock, I personally wouldn't have brought back, as many of you know. But a lot of people are saying they don't think that he's far from retiring anyway. So I don't know how long he's going to be around for. Seth, I don't know how old Seth is. But Seth, you know, is 39. I reckon that he could go till he's like 45, 46. So, I don't know. You never know with injuries and whatnot. But 45, 46, another 5 years or so. I don't know. Have people got a problem with Seth Rollins? I mean, he still delivers in the ring. He's still a big, big star that people tune in for. So, I mean, I don't know, man. I just sort of feel like we do all this work to get people over, and then you're just going to kick them to the curb. But it is true. You can't just keep using those names. You do have to introduce other names as well. But I would make the argument, clearly we're doing something with Bron Breakker. Clearly we're doing something with Gunther. Clearly there's high expectations for Jacob, right? So you can see these names that are coming through. So that's my take on all of that. So keep the dream. Thank you. It's a good, fun conversation. What do we think is going to happen with Jay? Well, I mean, it depends what we're going to do, because he clearly is frustrated. So obviously that hints at a turn. But is it maybe a bit too obvious that a turn is coming? I mean, for me, there's a couple of paths you can go down. You can keep building up the frustration to the point where he snaps on Jimmy, starts beating him up, right? And feels bad about it and tries to apologize. Jimmy won't accept it. Jay snaps again. And, you know, in the end, like, you know, he just goes off. And, you know, no one was there for me when I needed, and that's it, you know, he's a heel, right? So you just keep going down that road and he becomes a heel. Or you go the other way, where he's really down, frustrated, he gets some advice, that advice works, and, you know, he starts to pick up some wins. He starts to believe in himself again. Crowd are with him, and it's kind of like, come on, Jay, you've got this. And he starts to build him back up. And, you know, then he gets to a big match and it's like, dude, I need this moment. Him going for a world title, SummerSlam, something like that, right? And, you know, bang, that's it. He gets the belt back, but people are feeling a bit better about it this time because we've watched him struggle and we've watched him hit a low point and have to climb back up again. So, you know, it could be that he doesn't actually turn, and that this is to build sympathy, and that this is where they're hoping that people are going to look at Jay and be like, man, I feel bad for him, you know? He's just been trying his, and, you know, maybe they keep him face. I mean, I'm totally down for them to turn him heel. I'm not looking for them to keep him face. But if you was going to turn him heel, wouldn't it be better to kind of have him losing and just getting a little bit frustrated? Maybe not the big freak out we just saw, but just like keep him like, you know, a bit down, whatever. And then bang, he just turns. not out the blue. Like, you could see some signs, but they weren't like as obvious as what we've just seen. And then bang, he turns on Jimmy, or he snaps and he turns on a babyface and he just goes off and the crowd are booing. I sort of feel like if he turns now, we all can see it coming. Do you know what I mean? It's like standing on the railway tracks, looking down the tracks, and there's a train approaching. We can see it. We can see it. We can all see it. And it's not going to have the same impact if he actually turns, because we can all see that's what's coming. Which makes me think it's so obvious that's where it's going that maybe that's not where it's going. So I feel like you've got a couple of roads to go down. You either keep going down this road and we do get to that turn, or you go the other way and it's to build sympathy. And knowing WWE, I wouldn't be shocked if they're just trying to build some sympathy, because I don't know that they want to abandon the Jay kind of merch sales and his connection with the kids. I could believe that the story is that he keeps showing his frustration and someone, be it Sammy or whoever, puts an arm around the shoulder and goes, listen, you're crashing out here, your head's all over the place, and that is showing in your performances. You need to dial back in here, right? Come and train with me or something, or whatever it might be. And then he starts to get a win and he starts to get some momentum, and it's, the ball starts rolling again. And, it could absolutely be that we go down that path. So, don't know. I would not be down on the heel turn, but I do just wonder if it's a bit too obvious that that's where it's going. If we do end up getting Roman Cody 3, said King Gamer, The Rock has got to be a part of the builds, because he's mad at Cody for not selling his soul, and also he's mad at Roman for losing the title. Well, I would hope so. I would hope he'd be part of it. I mean, I agree with you. It would make total sense for him to be a part of it, but just never know that his schedule is going to allow it. Hello, Joseph said, I'm watching from San Diego. Joseph, shout out to you, buds. Hope you're well. Calvin said, what do we think's going to happen, like with creative sticking with Theory joining the Vision, or will they replace him as the mass figure? I think they'll stick with him. I think the reason why I say that is because if there was a rumor of Theory doing something else, then we could have a conversation about, I don't know that that's going to lead to Theory being the reveal. But the rumor about a month ago was that Theory was going to be in that match. He was going to be in that War Games match. And then Seth got injured and plans changed. So as a result, I think Theory joining the Vision has been a plan for quite a while. So now that the mass person got in and got involved, and word is that it's Theory, the person that was originally going to be in that match anyway, I mean, it just feels like, okay, that's going to be the reveal, isn't it? They had a plan to put Theory in the Vision. He was going to be a part of it when Seth was around, maybe revealed as the newest member, but as a result of the injuries, we've had to go a different direction. But it doesn't mean that Theory joining the Vision has been abandoned. It just means that we're going to get to it a slightly different way. So for that reason, I think that he gets revealed. Because if this was the plan, then, there's no need to really change plans. Do we think the majority of NXT talent should be tested as face and heel before going to the main roster? If time allows, Harry, then yeah, why not? I think NXT is the place where you should try stuff. I think you need to get to a certain level, though, before you do that. Like Trick Williams and Bron Breakker, they both became NXT champs. They had a run with the belts, and they both have got to a point where it's like, you're ready. We're just waiting for the call. Like, as soon as they tell us they need some male performers, you're going, right? I think you've got to get to that point because, let's say Miles Bourne, right? Miles Bourne is someone that's got great potential, and I think it's really interesting that he's deaf as well. I mean, I know it shouldn't be a factor, but that disability is something that we haven't really seen much of in WWE, like a deaf wrestler. And you sort of think about the inspiration he could be to deaf people, or just people with disabilities in general. How like motivational that could be, and I think that's a positive. And a negative for him in his real life of, you know, not having the ability to hear, I think can be a positive for him in wrestling, because he can be a real inspiration to people. So you sort of look at his look, and he looks like, you know, baby Randy Orton, of course, and which is no bad thing. And but although you don't want to be too close, I do think that Dolph Ziggler got a bit too close to Shawn Michaels, and, you know, was doing the super kick and everything. And I don't know that that helped Dolph. You know, if you are going to be so close to a legend that you're going to be just compared to that legend, that's an impossible benchmark in it. I mean, how are you ever going to eclipse Shawn Michaels? You're not. So if you're not going to do better than Shawn, then it's not going to be an advantage to be compared to Shawn, because you are always going to be seen as the Temu version. And that's the problem that Miles has got. If he's not going to be able to eclipse what Randy Orton has done, which I don't think he can, being, like, you know, compared to Randy right now in developmental is not a bad thing, right? People are having fun with it. But if that's going to be something that's going to stick with you on the main roster, I think that's a real problem, because you're not going to do better than Randy, and you're just going to be seen as a Temu Randy. And I think that was a problem for Dolph Ziggler. He was seen as a Temu Shawn Michaels. But that's by the by. In regard, so like for someone like Miles Bourne, I don't think he's worked everything out yet. I don't think that he's got the character, the presentation, and everything that's going to get him to the main roster. Now, you can try him heel to see if that will do it. But I think that first and foremost, what you want to do is you want to find the character and the presentation that works. So, yes, if being a babyface isn't doing it, then switch heel and see if that does it. But if that doesn't do it, then, you know, try a few things, go back to being a face, try a few. I think it should be fine in NXT to really do whatever you can to find the right presentation that is going to take you to the main roster, right? And I think, like, that's key. That's absolutely key. I mean, I would point to, like, a Fallon Henley that's like that kind of cowgirl, you know, for a girl from Texas. And, you know, has she got the right music? Has she got the right attitude? Is, like, have we worked everything? She's been in NXT so long. Has she worked everything out yet? Has she got the presentation that's going to take her to the main roster? I'm not sure. I like Fallon Henley a lot, but I don't know if like all the ducks are in a row and all the pieces are in place yet. And you can say that about a lot of people in NXT. Not, you know, I'm not picking out any individuals. I think you could say that about a lot of people, guys and girls. So should they try being a face and being a heel? Yes, they should. But more important than that, they should find the presentation that's going to get them there. Trick Williams right now could go back to being a babyface, could do his, you know, out he comes, whoop that trick, you know, cut in a babyface promo on the mic, and he would kill it. And we know that works, and we know people react to it. And so what we've done since is we've had him as a heel so that he can flesh out that side. So if he needs to turn heel, he's got some experience at it. That's just going to make him a better, well-rounded performer when he goes to the main roster, because there might be times where we need him to turn heel. And it's like, we need you to do a turn. We need a shocking moment. Plus, we've got a really good program lined up. We're going to do heel you against babyface Carmelo. And it's like, okay, yeah. Well, he's got the experience to do it now. If he doesn't get that experience in NXT, then that's a disadvantage, isn't it? Because he's going to have to try and work it out on the main roster. And that just means that it's going to be trial and error. It's going to be hit and miss. It's a lot better to work stuff out in NXT. So definitely. But just a caveat on that is, I think the most important thing is that you find the presentation that's going to get you to the main roster first. And then you can start experiencing other bits and bobs after that. But yeah, ideally, yes, so that you don't have to try and work it out on the main roster. Finally got some money spare to be a member, said Neil. I'm looking forward to seeing what this is about. Well, Neil, shout out to you, my friends. So, obviously, you get your name highlighted in the chat. You get access to the fun emojis, and I'm always open for requests for other emojis. Ideally, things that everyone can use. We do get some emoji requests for like, oh, can we get it for my team and whatever? And I don't mind doing that, but it's better if it's like fun ones that are universal that everybody can use. So you get access to those. And plus also we do 3 member streams a week. So we just did a member stream, which was like a Q&A. The good thing about that is I can get to your comments. I can't always get to everyone's comments during these streams. But during that one, I should be able to get to your comments. We do try and go through them all. It's the reason why we're late on a Tuesday, because I tried to get through everyone's comments before we start this stream. And then tomorrow we got Wrestle Feud, which is a fun quiz that we will actually have some members on stream that you'll be able to see, so you can put faces to names and play along with the quiz. That's pretty fun. People seem to really enjoy that. And then on Thursday we got the big championship game as well. So yeah, lots to look forward to. There's some good stuff coming up. I think we got your videos coming up as well next week. So if you are a member, don't forget next Wednesday, so not tomorrow, but next Wednesday on the 10th, it's your videos. That's where you send in videos of your collection, your thoughts, talking about wrestling, talking about John Cena maybe. It'd be interesting to get some stories of when you've met wrestlers. We've had some brilliant videos of people showing off their collections and people showing off like bits and bobs. Really good stuff. What I might do, I don't know, is maybe get a video out on one of the channels of some of those bits that have been sent in, because I think some of the non-members would like to see those, and there's been enough time that's passed now where we could probably go back to the very early your videos and pull some of that stuff out, because I bet there's a lot of you that would like to watch that content. But obviously, you know, it's the members that get to send stuff in. It's the members that get to watch those videos. So I don't really like talking about that stuff, though, because we don't really try and... I don't like people that aren't members to feel like they're missing out. But equally, I need to try and tell people that have just joined what they get, you know? So it's kind of a weird place to be. So there we go. That's the members side anyway. Okay, Redditor said there's nothing on the main roster for Trick, except maybe a US title. Maybe Mello Trick tag team. Trick is more of a solo act. Well, that's the problem, isn't it? I don't think they have creative ready for him. So he's ready, but they just don't have anything. This is why I'm so chilled when someone goes to the main roster. You do find a lot of wrestling fans want everything now. So for me, when Trick gets called up, yeah, okay. Let him get adjusted. It's a big thing to go to the main roster. Big change from NXT. Let him find his feet. If we're doing some tag stuff, is that what I want for Trick? No, of course it isn't. But put him in a tag team with someone. Just get him on TV. Give him some wins. Get the crowd used to him. Get him, you know, you kind of start again. That's how I view it. You kind of start again. All those great matches and moments in NXT have largely not been seen by the casual fans. Those kids that love Roman and Jay, they ain't watching NXT. So you've got to introduce Trick to those people. You've got to introduce Stephanie and Julia to those people. And you are starting again. So I love Trick, and I love Oba, and I love Javon. And if you bring them up, I don't need them going after titles straight away. And if they do, fine. But, I mean, I don't get upset if, like, why are they doing this to Trick? Putting him after tag belts. It's like, well, do you know what I mean? They're just 6 months or whatever. Like, just get them on TV. Get them involved. Find a way of getting them in the puzzle. It's like a puzzle. It's like a puzzle. You've got, like, every wrestler wants TV time on the main roster. There's not a single wrestler on the main roster that wants to be sat in catering. So, you know, you've probably got lots of wrestlers knocking on the door going, have you got anything for me, right? So all of a sudden you've got like all these wrestlers, all these pieces, and now you're introducing some more from NXT that you've got to feature, but you've got other people you got to think about as well. So it's like, this is where, you know, people get frustrated. And to be honest with you, I think there will always be frustration because there will always be wrestlers that miss out. So even if you use certain wrestlers, there's going to be some wrestlers that miss out that, you know, people are going to complain about. If such and such and such and such get on TV, well, that means that that person and that person don't, because there's only so much TV time. There's only so many spots. So I'm really chilled when it comes to NXT call-ups. I mean, I suppose part of it is because when I started watching wrestling, we didn't get to see the developmental. You know, when I was watching Hogan and Warrior, there wasn't an NXT, right? The territories were kind of where people were coming from, and I wasn't watching them. So the first time that I would be used to seeing people is when they were on pay-per-views, you know, or like later if they was arriving on Raw, or, you know, Wrestling Challenge or Superstars or SmackDown, right? Or All American Wrestling. So, you know, I'm so used to not having access to the developmental. I've spent a large part of my time just watching the main roster, because back in the day we never saw the developmental systems. And it's only really been since NXT arrived in 2010, but that was a different format. It was like 2012, 2013 when we got the actual TV show and its own brand. So it's only been like past 12 years or so that I'm used to seeing a developmental. I've spent more time watching a product where you don't see developmental than a product where you do. And so this is why for me it's so easy to see when wrestlers get called up that you start from scratch. You start again, you know. I know the landscape has changed, and I know many people have got into wrestling since NXT was around, and I'm sure that means they have a different perspective. But for me, I just view it that when you go to the main roster, you kind of start again. You know, you are the little fish in a big pond. You know, your experience compared to everyone else's, your star power compared to everyone else's. You know, I mean, you're just at the bottom of the rung. You're at the bottom of the mountain. You've got to start climbing. And so I'm quite chilled about it all. So whatever they want to do with Oba and Trick, you know, as long as they try and protect Oba's aura, and as long as they don't like do anything like stupid with Trick, like, I don't know, have him dressing as a clown or something, you know. I mean, if it's just a case that he's getting TV, he's in a tag team, he's doing a little low-level feud with Akira Tozawa or Otis or something, yeah, fine, no worries. We're bottom of the ladder, bottom of the mountain. We you know, up we go. Time to climb. And, you know, you follow the journey, don't you, with that wrestler? So, for me, I agree. I don't think there's room, and there hasn't been room, but there should be room next year. And I'm kind of mentally prepared for them to not, like, hit the ground running. They might do with an Oba, because he is obviously so intimidating that they might find a way of hitting the ground running. But if they don't, it's okay. I'm okay with it. And I really think that perspective that I've got comes from watching wrestling for so long before NXT was like a brand. I know that FCW, Florida Championship Wrestling, which was the developmental before NXT, that's where the likes of the Usos came through, and Roman came through, and Naomi came through, right? They didn't really come through NXT. They came through FCW, which was just before. I know that was being shown in Florida, but that was, to my knowledge, not shown in the UK. I had no access to that. I had no way of watching that. There might have been highlights or matches or clips that were on YouTube or something, but I never saw them. So I had no access to that. If you was in Florida, I think you could watch like FCW on a local channel and actually enjoy developmental content. There is a lot of FCW content that is out there. For some reason, not much got loaded on the network. So there's all this historical stuff that could get uploaded. And you do see the Vault putting things up, from FCW, but there's so much content that they haven't uploaded, and I really don't know why. I don't know why. You've got all the developmental footage for like Rusev and Roman and Seth and Alexa Bliss, and Alexa obviously spent a bit of time over in NXT, of course, but I think she spent some time in FCW. Trying to think back to the documentary, because the documentary showed a load of wrestlers in the old FCW warehouse. There's a whole documentary on FCW which is really good, but I'd love to see some of that footage, some of those episodes. Long ago, said Joseph, we had a small organization to see talent. I started with UPW. In 97, I got to see John Cena and Brian Kendrick. Oh, very good. Well, I mean, Cena is known for coming through OVW, isn't he? I mean, to be honest, my knowledge of the developmental system is very sketchy. I know that in the 80s, we were getting talent predominantly from the territories. I mean, I don't think there was like a developmental system for WWE at that time. In the 90s, I think we were getting people from WCW, obviously, and some of like the other territories like NWA, whatever. Some were coming in from the indies, but I don't know that there was. That'd be really interesting. I don't know if there was specifically a feeder promotion, I'm aware of OVW, obviously, in the early 2000s, and I think that's the first one I'm really aware of. So UPW is really interesting. I don't know if that was a feeder promotion for WWE where they would train them and then send them to WWE. I genuinely don't know. OVW is the first one I'm aware of, and everyone knows the class of Batista, John, Brock, and Jim Cornette training them. I think there was some that came from like ECW and Smoky Mountain Wrestling and places like that, but an actual designated feeder promotion that's like, this is what we do. We are a promotion that put on shows, we train wrestlers, and then WWE come and take some of those wrestlers. I don't know. I mean, maybe UPW was one in the late 90s. But OVW is the famous one, of course, that everyone knows in the early 2000s. And I think from there, it became FCW, or it moved to Florida, and FCW was the focus, and then you go to NXT. So we can kind of trace it back to the early 2000s, but before that, don't know, to be honest. That would be really interesting to find out. Maybe UPW was one, Joseph. Steve said, with the main roster in need of a shake-up, so much talent in NXT that could be used. Do we think in integrating them without getting NXT's all-time great talent if they did a mass call-up? I think, Steve, honestly, my feeling on that is really clear. First and foremost, and again, I think it goes back to the way I grew up watching wrestling. Raw, SmackDown, PLEs, that's where you start. That is what drives this business. I mean, the money that is made from ticket sales, merch sales, TV deals, Netflix, ESPN, it's all main roster. I mean, NXT is like 20 million, I think, 27 million they get from CW Network. So, yeah, it's important, but it's absolute chump change. I mean, it's nothing compared to, I think tickets and merch do like triple the amount of money that CW pay for for NXT. So, it's chump change. I mean, the CW deal compared to like the ESPN deal, I mean, one's 20 odd million a year, the other is 350 odd million a year. So, and then you've got the Netflix deal, then you've got the USA Network deal, then you got the Saudi Arabia deal, and all of that is main roster. So I have absolutely no doubt in my mind you get your main roster sorted first. You do not give a second's thought as to what that means for NXT. Not a second. If I'm Triple H, I have no doubt. If I'm Nick Khan, I have no doubt. If I'm TKO, I have no doubt. NXT is there to provide talent for the main roster, first and foremost, right? And what we've tried to do, and we've done it successfully, is we've also tried to put on a really great product with that talent that's learning and emerging. And as a result of that being a good product, we've managed to sell it so that it's now on TV. So there is a responsibility to make sure that that show is still watchable and enjoyable, right? But first and foremost, you get your main roster sorted, Raw and SmackDown. So if you need a mass call-up, do it. Do it. Take the talent. And then what you do, which I think is quite fun, is you go, okay, what have I got left, right? And you see what you've got left. If you do need to pick up the phone to Triple H and go, listen, you've just took from me 10 guys and 10 girls. I have got some talent, because there is going to be talent still, of course. You could take 10 guys, 10 girls and still have talent for NXT. But I don't think it's unfair to pick up the phone to Triple H and go, is there anyone now that you're not going to use as much? Is there someone that, I need some names? And maybe it's a situation where they're like, well, we can send you Natalia and we can send you such and such. And, you actually get a few names come down from the main roster just to prop you up whilst that next talent is coming through. I mean, I'm guessing you get on the phone to TNA and you go, listen, is there anyone you can spare for a few months that we can, tell some stories with? Can we have the Hardys at all? Have you got anyone that we can, what are you doing with Dolph? What are you doing with Mustafa Ali? What are you doing with Indy Hartwell? What are you doing with, a lot of their talent is ex-WWE talent. So, I'm picking up the phone to TNA. What can you do for me? I'm picking up the phone to Triple H. What can you do for me? I might be picking up the phone to Undertaker going, what's happening in AAA? Is there any way I can have Mr. Iguana for a bit? And I'm plugging gaps to get through whilst I desperately build up new stars, interesting characters. I think that'd be a really interesting job. That is not a job that you should have and roll your eyes at and go, oh, that sounds like a nightmare. That should be a job that you go, let's go. That sounds so much fun. That sounds great. That sounds like exciting. That sounds like a challenge. That's the dream in many ways. If I work in developmental, what I want to do is make stars. I want to help them fulfill their potential, and I want to showcase them the best I can, and I want them to be successful, and I want them to make a mark, and that way when they go to the main roster and they're cooking, I can be like, I played a part in that. And so I think if you do take some of that top end away, which honestly is ready as well, a lot of them are ready, exposing the ones that do need that focus and do need that work, that is let's go. That's where you can get excited, because it's you're working with those lumps of clay again. Working with the Trick Williams would be not tricky, but he's done his learning and he's there now. I feel like he's, picking up the odd new move, getting feedback. You could have done that a little better, or, did you think about going this way, doing that? But it's tweaks. Do you know what I mean? Have you thought about doing this? You're sort of just trying to smooth any rough edges, really. He knows what he's doing. He's been in so many matches. He's had so many promos. He's been face, he's been heel. He's been the top guy carrying the company. He's worked with so many different styles. He's been over in TNA in front of different crowds. Now you're just sort of have you done this? Have you tried that, So, but take that level away, you've got just lumps of clay that are ready to be molded into whatever shape you want to shape them into. So, yeah, honestly, there feels like there does need to be a bit of a big call-up, because Trick and Oba and maybe JC. JC's been in developmental, I think, 5 years or so. You could even make the argument for a Jordynne Grace, who doesn't need to learn much. She's been in TNA. There's always things you can learn and improve. But at some point, you've got to, go to the main roster. So I think you could call up 5 guys, 5 girls quite comfortably. I think that you could. Would anyone bat an eyelid if Sol Ruca got called up. I don't think they would. Would anyone bat an eyelid if Jordynne Grace went up with all the time she spent in TNA as well? No, I don't think they would. Would anyone bat an eyelid if JC Jane went up? No. I think she's been a really good champion. So, absolutely, I think she could go up. Would anyone bat an eyelid if Lola Vice went up? I don't think so. I mean, I don't think Lola is, like, she's had that women's title run. You could definitely give her that. But she is Latina, and obviously that's something that's quite interesting at the moment because that's a growth market for WWE. We're seeing El Grande, we're seeing Santos Escobar, we're seeing, Dominic Mysterio. Damian Priest was world champion not long ago. We got the AAA promotion. Lola actually features there quite regular as well. So, and she's a good-looking girl. You can't escape that. So, you look at Lola, I could absolutely see her getting called up in the near future. I wouldn't be shocked if she went up in 2026. So, I haven't got to work hard to find 5 guys, 5 girls. And actually, maybe that gives NXT some nice breathing room then and brings that next level through. So, yeah, no, I don't worry about those things. But the priority has to be the main roster. Aubrey said this one is for Trini. Heart emoji. Glockness said Zack Ryder and LA Knight should team up. They could be Knight Rider. Oh, that could be fun. James said, I've not heard anything. Hope she's okay and can give an update. She did say she would try to pop in. Who's that? I hope Trini is okay. Oh, is everything okay with Trini? I hope everything's okay. She's in hospital. All I know, she came in and said it yesterday on Raw Stream. Really? Oh, I didn't see that. Thoughts very much with Trini. Wishing her a very, very speedy recovery. I'd not heard that news, so that's really sad, isn't it? That she's going through that. I genuinely had not heard that. Thoughts being sent to Trini. Hopefully she'll see this. Hopefully she'll be out of hospital soon, if I've read all that correctly. Right, Alexa Bisgamer said, yeah, Alexa did spend a little time in FCW when she was Southern Sweet Belle. She would say, bless your heart. I didn't know that. Alexa Bisgamer, hope you're doing well. I just remember, or at least I think I remember, seeing her in that FCW documentary. That's the only thing I think I've ever seen of Alexa in FCW, so didn't know she was a Southern Sweet Belle saying bless your heart. So that's the kind of footage I would like to see, honestly. That's the kind of FCW, like this. It's crazy. I don't know why. I suppose the interest in it. If we're going to be honest, it's probably only the hardcore fans like us that would care. Most fans would maybe give it a glance and go, oh, that's fun. That's where they started, was it? But probably not be any more interested than that. But yeah, I mean, I think it'd be really interesting to go back and be able to watch some of those feuds and some of those stories, some of those. Who wouldn't like to see a Roman Reigns promo from when he was in developmental? I've seen a few bits from him when he was Roman Leakey, was it? That was his name. And actually, Mattel released some figures of talent when they were in NXT and FCW, when they were in developmental. And some of the looks were crazy, man. Some of the looks, like Rusev's look was a bit strange. And some of the looks were like really crazy. So, yeah, there's some fun to be had by digging into all of that. So, yeah, I didn't know that about Alexa. That's cool. Alex Bisgamer. Taker 1990, hello, said, Daze, did you hear on Raw that the audience wanted Jay to run his theme music back, chanting one more time? Yes, after his music stops, including the fans in the upper section where I was sitting. Yes, I hope you had a good time, buds. Yes, I did hear. I mean, it's the great conversation, isn't it, that we always go back to. And there always seems to be... I don't know. People don't ever seem, or not everyone seems to ever believe it or buy it or really believe in it. But, when we say that the IWC and the conversations we have is just a part of the wrestling world. It's not the majority. It's really hard for some people to understand that. And I get it. I mean, it was hard for me to wrap my head around it as well, right? And even now, I still find myself wondering how live crowds are going to react. I mean, you look at Carrion and how much noise there was online about We Want Cross, and then you go to Raws and SmackDowns after he's been released, expecting signs everywhere and loud chants. And actually, what we ended up with was one guy trying to start a chant and then putting a video out after going, guys, I'm so sorry, I really tried, but I just couldn't get people to join in with me. And you're like, you go on like the YouTube channels, or you go on like the threads, and all you're seeing is We Want Cross, We Want Cross, We Want Cross. And it's just being spammed, and it's just like everywhere you turn. And then you tune into the shows and there's like no noise, no one saying it. And it's the exact same thing, isn't it? Where online, everyone's rolling their eyes at Jay and his entrance. And it's like, oh my God, I don't need to be watching this. And then at the live shows, people are like pleading for him to run it back, I mean, I would imagine when he ran it back mid-match during Survivor Series, the live crowd probably fine with it. There might have been some that were like, oh God. But, just an opportunity for them to yeet away and dance away and have a bit of fun themselves in the live crowd whilst being there live. Us at home are like, blimey now, Jesus, is he really doing this, right? But in the live crowd, I bet they were eating it up and loving it. So, I mean, it is true that there is a difference between the stuff you see online and then the stuff that plays out from the live crowd. And it is true that, like, when you're there live in person, it probably feels different as well. Like, you've spent a lot of money, you're there for a good time. If you sat at home, you're probably willing to join in with the moaning and complaining. But if you're there live, you want to join in with the fun. You spent your money. So there is this big difference. Well, not all the time, but, a good chunk of the time. You'll see a lot of stuff online that then just does not, translate to the live show from the crowd. And, as I said, I think the vast majority of it is that there's a lot of kids that love Jay and love wrestling, and they don't engage with wrestling chatter. They're watching their favorite gaming streamers. They're out with their mates. They're living their lives. They're not sat talking about wrestling online like we are. Some are, but not all. And instead, it's just part of entertainment that they enjoy. They enjoy, watching Logan's vlogs, and they enjoy watching him in WWE. And they enjoy, watching their favorite gaming streamers, and they enjoy watching their favorite TV shows and whatever. And WWE is just a part of the entertainment that they consume. So for them, they're not going to shows thinking We Want Cross. They're not going to shows thinking, I hope Jay doesn't faff around with his entrance. They're going to the show hoping, I hope he does. I might even be in the aisle where he comes walking down. And that is such a different mindset and such a different perspective from how a lot of us sit and watch wrestling, on a regular basis. And there is that split. There is like that divide, if you will, within. There's all these different opinions and perspectives in wrestling, And honestly, it can be really frustrating sometimes. When you see something that you really passionately are against, but you see like everyone else is really into it, like that can be really annoying. But I mean, it happens to me a lot. I'm sure it happens to you a lot as well. We all have different frustrations with wrestling. We sometimes share those same frustrations. But yeah, it's just part of it, isn't it? It's a weird part, actually, because again, when I used to watch wrestling, there'd be things I'd enjoy and things I wouldn't. But if I didn't enjoy it, I'd be like, oh, that sucks, Oh, God, I can't believe they've done that. And then you'd think about it and be like, why have they done that? That's so stupid. And, you'd then just carry on with your day. Now we have these big conversations around everything. And, you get all these different thoughts and all these different opinions. And it's just so weird. The way that I watch wrestling now is so different to how it used to be. before I was doing this, of course. And I'm sure the same is true of you guys as well. If you join us on this channel on a regular basis, you might be used to now watching wrestling, hearing my thoughts and hearing the community's thoughts as I'm reading out the comments. And that's different, isn't it, to just being sat on your own watching wrestling? Hopefully it makes it a more engaging, informative, lots of different perspectives, live. Hopefully it's, a positive, a net positive. But, yeah, it's so wild, so different. And, going to a live show and seeing how the live crowd reacts, it might be a bit jarring compared to how you see the IWC react. James, hello, said, are you excited for Deadline on Saturday? What's the predictions for the show? Am I excited for it? I honestly have not even given it a second's thought. I am looking forward to it because I always look forward to the wrestling. But I honestly, what with Survivor Series, my brain has not switched over to Deadline. So in regards to who's going to win, I genuinely have not given it a second's thought. We did just look at the cards on the member stream. There's 3 matches. The 2 Iron Survivor, and then you got Ricky and Oba. So in regards to who's going to win, right? Let's have a look and let's have a think. So Javon, Leon, Joe Hendry, Dion, Miles. Okay, so the winner gets the title match at New Year's Evil. Doesn't necessarily mean they're going to win. I think if Javon gets the match, I think he should win, to be honest. I think if Javon wins this thing, he should win the title. Because he's had a few title matches where he's fallen short. We've even seen The Undertaker having a word with Javon saying, stick with it. You're doing great. So I feel like we've already had Javon be quite down about not winning. I mean, how many times is he going to get an opportunity and fall short? So if Javon wins, then I think he should get the title at New Year's Evil. So the question becomes, is it time for Javon to win the title, or do you kick that can down the road a little bit more? I think you might want to kick the can down the road a little bit more, believe it or not. I don't know that it's time for Ricky to lose the title and for Javon to win. I'd be fine for Javon to get it at Stand and Deliver, but I don't know that I would put it on him at New Year's Evil. So for that reason, I'm going to say no to Javon. Leon Slater, no. TNA talent wouldn't do it. Joe Hendry, I think, is interesting. But again, would I be taking the belt off Ricky and putting it on Joe? I don't think I would, personally. I think I'd be taking the belt from Ricky from a heel. But I don't think Ricky is going to lose that belt at New Year's Evil. So Miles is a babyface who's interesting. Dion is interesting. There's only one heel in that, which is Dion. I'm going to say something really controversial. I would have Dion Lennox win. And here's my logic. My logic is I would not have Ricky lose the belt at New Year's Evil. So whoever is facing Ricky, and I think Ricky beats Oba, whoever faces Ricky is not winning. So if anyone that wins this Iron Survivor is someone that you want to see as champion, I wouldn't have them win. So I don't see why we do Ricky, Javon, and Javon loses again, right? That doesn't make sense to me. You could do Ricky, Leon as a fun little match, and Leon loses, and Leon has his moment of good try, kids, unlucky, but you'll get there one day. The same sort of thing we've already done with Javon. You could just do it with Leon, right? So I'd have Leon as second place. Joe Hendry, do you want Joe to lose? Because I wouldn't have the person win. So Ricky Saints, Joe Hendry, you can do it, but I think Ricky wins. Is that the right way to use Joe? I'd probably use Joe some other way. Ricky, Miles Bourne, Ricky wins. Are people okay with Miles losing? You could do it, but it's not the way I would go. I think I'd have Dion Lennox. And the reason why is because Dion Lennox is a heel. He's not going to win. I think we need to continue building Dark State. They're clearly not abandoning the Dark State project. So Why abandon it? Why throw it away? Why not try and build Dion Lennox up as a breakout star? Dion Lennox got a really good look. Just because he's in a group, it doesn't mean that he can't be a big future star on his own. You know, look at Roman in the Shield. I mean, Roman was in the Shield. He was in a faction. He's gone on to be one of the biggest stars in the history of WWE. I'm not saying Dion Lennox is going to achieve that, but I really am not down on him getting an opportunity. And actually, there's an interesting extra wrinkle, which is Ricky has then got to deal with the other members of Dark State interfering. So Ricky has then got a numbers problem against him. I think Ricky gets the win at New Year's Evil, overcomes that problem, but it would be a decent showcase for Dark State to just get a bit more spotlight, for Dion to cut some in-ring promos, which hopefully would go well. Hopefully the match would be a banger, which would bring some more credibility to the group. And as I said, I think Ricky carries on to stand and deliver. So for that reason, I would look at the heel Dion Lennox as the direction I would be interested in going. I would probably have Leon Slater at number 2, because that would just be a banger. Leon against Ricky. Leon falls short. No problem in that. But I'd probably have that as my number 2 option. Javon, no, we've already done that. Unlucky kid next time story. Miles Bourne, I think he needs some feuds first. Not really. Of all the options on the table, no. Joe Hendry, you could do it, but I don't know. Do people want to see Joe Hendry lose? I'm not sure. I think people might get a bit frustrated by that. So, yeah, for me, Dion at 1, Leon at 2, and those would be the reasons why, right? So, actually a surprise there. I wouldn't, looking at that list, the obvious name is Javon, isn't it? But I really don't think he would get the belt from Ricky. And nor do I think he should, really, unless Ricky is going into the Rumble and getting called up soon. But there's no word that that's happening. Okay, women's. Sol Ruca. JC's not long been champ either, has she? Are we going to take the belt off JC? Probably not. Sol Ruca, Lola Vice, Kelani Jordynne Grace, Kendal Gray. Okay, JC is a heel, and I'm guessing she's going to be champ. So I feel like we need a baby face. So Sol Ruca makes sense. Zarya could cost her. There could be something there that then really breaks that friendship down. Lola Vice, fine, but not really too much to it. Kalani's a heel. Jordynne, JC, we've done it before. Kendal, too early. I'd go Sol Ruca. And I'd have Zarya getting involved. And I'd do something with that and really, let's, pull the trigger on that now. I think we're all tired of that being teased. Let's just flip and pull the trigger. Ricky against Oba, I think Ricky wins. I mean, I think that Oba is just ready to get called up. I mean, I don't think that Ricky... I think Ricky needs to be seen as a good, credible champion. I think that Ricky needs a good run with this belt. And I think that him having a win over Oba again, it would obviously be good. It would show that it wasn't a fluke, him being champ. But this is why I'm saying I don't think you take the belt off him at New Year's Evil, because I don't think Ricky's coming up early 2026. I don't think they've got plans for him at WrestleMania. So let's get to Stand and Deliver WrestleMania weekend with Ricky still as champion. I would do that. And then he drops the belt there. And listen, he could drop it to Javon. I have no issue with that. He could drop it to whoever, Miles Bourne, if we've built Miles Bourne up good enough. But probably Javon. But again, it's so hard to know, isn't it? Because when's Javon getting called up? When is Javon going to go to the main roster? So I just don't... I think the thing I keep getting stuck on is I just don't think that the New Year's Evil show is where Ricky loses the belt. So that says to me whoever wins the men's is not winning. And that is the barrier for Javon winning. Javon is the biggest name in that match to me. And Javon is the probably the biggest favourite in that match. But I don't think if he wins that match, he's winning the title. And so, as a result, I don't think it makes sense for him to win. So, this is where Dion comes in. This is where Leon comes in. Sol Ruca, I think, feels pretty good. I think Ricky retains. That would be where I am right now. But my thoughts can obviously change as we watch the shows, as we head to what I mean, like maybe after tonight's show, my opinion will change if I see something. But yeah, that's kind of where I am. I think the men's Iron Survivor is really interesting. I think Javon deserves the main roster, said Susan. Maybe. Perhaps they just call up the young OG and he doesn't ever get a run with the NXT Championship. Maybe. I mean, it's hard because I don't know when they're calling people up. I mean, we don't normally do that now. Like, we don't normally call people up this side of WrestleMania. Like, now you tend to save them for post-WrestleMania, that Raw after WrestleMania, or the draft. You'd save it for that, really. You might do summer in a Rumble, call up the odd person, and announce that they're on the main roster now. So maybe the Rumble, but that would only be like one person. So I don't know. But because we haven't had a draft, it does make you wonder if they're going to do something soon with just calling up a load of NXT talent. Because there's clearly gaps on the roster. So we're in this weird place where it's like, yeah, Javon might go the main roster. Sol Ruca might go the main roster. And so it makes it kind of difficult to then know who gets the opportunities and who's getting called up and all of that. There's no word on any of that stuff. I would be very interested to know if there was any odds. I would imagine Javon's the favourite. I would imagine. NXT deadline odds. Is there any betting odds? Betting odds. No. Nothing there anyway. Yeah, nothing yet. Where are we? 9 minutes. I think Joe Hendry could get it. It's not the person that I prefer, but I think it could be the direction. But I could see Dion winning. Those are my two front runners, says Brony. Brony, shout out to you. Brony said, I had no idea that deadline was this weekend. Yeah, I haven't even set the stream up yet. But we are very fortunate because we've had Survivor Series. Then this weekend, it's deadline. Then the weekend after that, it's going to be John Cena retiring. And then the weekend after that is, well, I'm disappointed, to be honest, because for me, that Saturday should be Joshua against Jake Paul. But it's on the Friday. And that's a flipping nightmare because I think it could actually be at the same time as SmackDown. So, you know, that is Christmas kind of weekend in a way. I don't know actually what's happening on the 27th. 27th is a Saturday, I believe. So, I mean, because that's just a couple of days after Christmas, I don't think there is anything. So, 20th and 27th are a bit messy, but really that 20th, it should be Jake Paul against Anthony Joshua. I don't know why they keep booking those fights to be on a Friday. Very frustrating. I wish it was just the Saturday. Everyone would tune in for it. I mean, I don't know what they're worried about competing against. I mean, Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul doesn't need to worry about competing against anything unless it's the flipping Super Bowl. So I think, or the World Cup final. I think it's a shame, really, that that's not on the 20th. But we're very fortunate because basically we've got wrestling taking us up until pretty much Christmas. So I'll definitely take that. Joseph said, Daze, what are the thoughts on Thea Hale? Will she win a title? Will she ever make the main roster? Joseph, shout out to you. I like Thea Hale. I think she's small, and that's a problem because, you know, it's hard if you are not that big to kind of convince that you can take down the giants. You know, you've got to mix it up with the Lash Legends of the world. You know, the Charlotte Flairs. And Charlotte's not like a big monster, but, I mean, she would tower over Thea. Rhea Ripley would tower over Thea. Raquel would tower over Thea. So, you know, because of the way that wrestling is set up, and there's only, like, you know, the world titles, and that's it, that we don't have weight classes. I mean, it's undeniable if you are smaller in stature that you have got a mountain to climb. You are going to be an underdog, yeah? And that can work to some people's advantage. I mean, look at Rey Mysterio. But you have got to be something really special if you are on the smaller side. Like your promo work, your character work, your wrestling ability. It's really got to shine if you are on the smaller side, because you are already at a disadvantage, right? And so as a result of that, I think that Thea's going to find it hard, to be honest. I think she's going to find it hard. I think she's finding it hard now. I think when she was in Chase U and she was the fun cheerleader type girl with that megaphone thing, that was good presentation for her. But I think after that, we've really struggled. I mean, putting her with Joe Hendry was good, fun. But there's not a long-term future in that. You know, that's just a fun little short-term thing. She needs to find a presentation, some sort of angle, some sort of gimmick, kind of, that is going to work for her. Something like, you know, how Toni Storm's got the timeless character. I'm not saying she has to go that far, but just something that's going to have a bit of a catchphrase, that's going to win the fans over, something that you can use in your promo style. I mean, you don't need anything that drastic. I mean, if you look at what Becky's doing right now, it's great. You know, she's using all caps and she's shouting about how she's the best. And it's not just her saying it, Sports Illustrated are saying it. And, you know, she's going off on the officiating. And there's this big conspiracy against her, and she's got all the nicknames for the other wrestlers, and it's like, it's really good. It's nothing that crazy. It's not like she's dressing up as a chicken, but you know, her talking about the officiating and the conspiracies and how everyone's against her. Adam Pearce is against her. Jessica Carr's against her. She's being cheated out of the title. She's giving the wrestlers nicknames. She's sounding off on social media in all caps and, you know, doing fun backstage vlogs and, you know, all this kind of stuff. Like, that can be used in her promos when she gets interviewed by Kathy Kelly. She can use that when she's in the ring doing her live promos. It gives her a social media presence. And it's like, Thea needs something similar that can work in her live promos, work in her backstage promos, work in her ring gear and her presentation. And, you know, she needs something along those lines. I don't think she has that yet. And so there's a lot of work that needs to be done there. And she needs to keep improving with her in-ring. But it is improving a lot. I remember when I was first watching her when she was in Chase U. And even before she just joined Chase U. You know, where she is now is, I mean, so much better. And, you know, they did a clever thing, actually, of giving her that Kimura, because that Kimura is a move that she can hit on anyone. You know, they know that the size is a factor, but you can get a Kimura onto Lash Legend. You can get a Kimura onto Nia Jax, get the arm behind the back and then lift it. So, you know, that Kimura is a good move that is tapping people out, and she can hit it on anyone. So it's a good move for her, that. So will she get to the main roster? Well, it's hard to say. I would say that she needs to find that angle. She needs to find that thing that's going to give her some momentum, that's going to get her, you know, noticed and people talking about her. This partnership with Joe Hendry is great, but it's not a long-term thing, is it? She's not going to be Joe Hendry's partner for the next 5 years. In fact, I doubt she's going to be Joe Hendry's partner by the time we get to flipping February. I mean, she might do a few more things with him, like over Christmas going into January, but I'd imagine that'll be it then. So she's got to find that angle thing, which is easier said than done, honestly. So will she be a champ? Again, if she finds that momentum, then yeah, the sky's the limit. I mean, if she doesn't, and what starts happening is that they can't find creative for her. And, you know, there's other girls that start coming all the time. There's girls coming in from LFG, from Evolve. I mean, I'd say Kendal Gray is ahead of her now in the pecking order. Well, it proves it. Kendal Gray's in the Iron Survivor. Thea Hale isn't. So, you know, there's girls coming in, taking those spots and wanting those spots. Callie Armstrong's coming through, right? She's going to come in and take that spot. Who's that Samoan girl? I can't remember her name. JD something. She's coming through as well. She looks interesting. LFG constantly bringing this talent through. If you're going to struggle to find that thing that really makes you stand out, you'll find yourself going into Evolve. That's where Wendy Chu's gone. That's where Nikita's gone, you know, and you're going to suddenly struggle to find yourself getting TV time. And, well, I don't know, it's a slippery slope in it. It's not a good path to be on. So, yes, it's hard to go, oh, yes, this is going to happen. That's going to, we don't have a crystal ball. But what I can say is that there definitely is a lack of something that makes her stand out, I would say. I mean, she's fun. I like her. I really want it to succeed for her. But, you know, this Joe Hendry thing ain't going to last forever. Okay, NXT. Let's go. NXT. Boom. Were we up to date on Super Chats? Jared said, in your opinion, would you rather Zarya or Soul go heel? And Jared said, when do we get that Zarya heel turn? Well, I feel like Zarya turning heel is the logical one because Soul feels like she's quite nice and, you know, she's like the surfer chick and everything about Soul just feels quite babyface. I don't think I have kind of liked the way it feels it's going, though, is it feels like Soul's going to be the heel. I mean, Zarya is the one that's tried to throw the towel in to look after Soul. Soul is the one that's kind of been moody about it. And, you know, she feels like a bad friend, really. So at the moment, it feels like it's Soul that's going to turn heel. But I think Zarya, when she first came in, everyone was quite excited about the fact that she was this sort of like female Brock Lesnar in a way. Like, she had this aura, and it was like everyone was quite excited about her. And then we really moved away from that. We are underway, by the way. We've got Corey Graves. No Booker this week. So, Corey and Vic Joseph. We've got the summits. You all had the honor of being handpicked. This is such a great opportunity for Kendal Gray, isn't it? I mean, she does not look out of place in that ring. Okay, so Sol Ruca said that Ethan Page gave us some unsolicited advice. If he sees me that way, then it's time I start seeing myself that way. She says that she was a double champ with her best friend by her side. But she's had ups and downs, and she's not got that belt now. Okay, Jordynne Grace is getting him. I don't mind these. I mean, I don't think you're going to get too much out of them. It's just going to be, I'm going to win type stuff. Here's Lola. No matter how many times I've got screwed, I still believe in myself. If it wasn't for Lainey, I would be your women's champion right now. Here's Kendal. Grey Graps. I am built on big moments. Oh, she got cut off by Kelani. That's rude, man. Booze for Kelani. Booze for Kelani. Yeah, pretty loud booze for Kelani, actually. Nay, this crowd do not like her at all. She has managed to get some good heat, hasn't she? Loud boos. Did they tell them to boo like this? Like, I don't know, man, because this is really much louder than we've heard before. I hope she says, because I am her. Shut the F up. Kelani says, have some respect. Here come Fatal Influence. That was loud, mate. That was the most notable part of that whole thing, was the reaction that Kelani was getting. I think they'll be really excited by that. All order has been restored. So JC Jane is out with this championship. Sol Ruca. The new flavor of the week, Kendal Gray. There's Kelani. Yeah, that's right. I don't like her either. Okay, Kelani pushes Jordynne. Jordynne with a takedown on Kelani. These two are brawling. Fatal Influence get in there. Now we got the other women fighting with Fatal Influence. Kick there by Kendal. Lola Vice over on the other side. That was fine. That was fine. I think that was a good segment to watch if you hadn't actually watched NXT this year, you know. If you didn't know these girls, that's a pretty good segment to tune in for, because it's a great way to kind of get up to speed. Here's Joe and Thea. Joe's talking about the Iron Survivor Challenge. Here's Stax and Ariana. Okay, so is this going to lead to a match, I'm guessing? Chelsea and Ethan should have chose a real power couple. This. That was quick, wasn't it? Okay, here we go then. We got Thea coming out with Joe. It looks like we're going straight into Thea against Ariana Grace. Okay, so this looks to be our opening match. Did you notice that Thea's got some muscle on her, said Suzanne. She does, putting in that work. As they should. Go, Jordynne Grace, says Jordan. JC Jane is great mic talker. I'm a big fan, says Brony. She is like an excited puppy, says Corey. She was great in Chase U. And then she just got lost. And after Chase U, there was no way of, I don't know, they just couldn't find a way of presenting her. This partnership with Joe Hendry has worked very well because, you know, it's getting her back on TV. So that's obviously really good. And yeah, she's always been like really hyped, really hyper. They just seem to struggle, though, to find a way of presenting that. So I like her. I really hope we can find a way forwards. I just know that this Joe Hendry partnership is not going to be long lasting. So we are going to need to use this to hopefully catapult her off into kind of, you know, doing her own thing and finding a way forward and giving us some momentum. So hopefully it achieves that. This is from a city near my hometown. Thea is from a city near my hometown. She went to school about 5 minutes from where I work, said Steve. Dr. Luchalala said, I hope another layer gets added to Joe Hendry in NXT. I would love to see that character develop. Brony said, is Andre Chase still in NXT? He is, yes. Andre Chase is still in NXT. So, big brawl kicking off the show. So, obviously, JC Jane coming out, and we had a bit of a brawl. Then we've just had a bit of a backstage confrontation. And now we go to our first match. So 12 minutes in, not loads. We do need to remember this is a go-home show, though. It is lovely to be back and to actually have a live show to get your teeth into, though. Last week, obviously, with the stop-start and the commercials. Oh, God, that was a flipping nightmare. So I'm very, very grateful that we are not having to faff around with that. Right, becoming a traitor might have been the best thing for Kelani. Since her win, the TNA title, she keeps getting good heat, said WrestleRants. I agree. I think they'll be thrilled with that. The heat that she's getting. I mean, if you're a heel, that's the exact reaction you dream of. The worst reaction you could get is silence. So, yeah, you got to be absolutely thrilled with that if you're a heel. Dominic said, I really like that traitor angle with Kelani, but there's something missing from her being a mega heel. I can't quite put my finger on it, says Dominic. I think it's still early, to be honest. And also, I think her promos are quite monotone. That's always been a criticism of her, that her promos are very It's all like, you know, I think like delivering some lines down the camera, turning to some girls to deliver some killer lines, and, you know, just like turning up the bitchiness. I think, you know, but as I said, I think she's still like working it out because she hasn't really been heel all that long. It was that kind of showdown show, wasn't it? Where she ended up going on the TNA side where it started like really to gain some traction. Okay, we're back with the show. We got Ava having a word with Fatal Influence. Okay. 6-woman tag match has been made. Probably should have seen that coming. Okay, here's Ariana Grace coming out with Stacks. Miss NXTNA. Stacks giving Ariana Grace some advice. Ariana Grace. Steve Macklin said Stacks is a fitting name because that's exactly what I do. I stack bodies. Friday, TNA, final resolution will be no different. Tag 'em, bag 'em, and mayhem for Stacks. Okay. So we're about to get underway then with Thea Hale against Ariana Grace in our opening match. Okay, these two locking up. Stacks on the other. Ariana Grace working on the arm there of Thea. Thea trying to get back up to her feet as Ariana again working on that arm. I'm very surprised that they've gone with this as the opening match for NXT. This isn't the kind of match that I would have expected would have opened the show, but I'm guessing it's going to lead to a mixed tag match in the very near future. Ariana Grace looking for a net breaker, and she gets it. Crowd are chanting, "We believe. We believe. We believe." I feel like they're pushing this year's Mania earlier and more than they have in the past. Do we think it's because of ticket sales? They've just cut a female WrestleMania promo during the commercial break now, says Billy. Yeah, well, I think they obviously want this thing to sell out. And I think they obviously will know how ticket sales have gone before, when they slow down and all that kind of stuff. So get them launched, make a big deal about the ticket sale launch. And I agree. I mean, the adverts for that have been absolutely everywhere. Suicide dive there by Thea. Ariana Grace goes down. Ariana Grace gets chucked back in the ring. Now Thea's having a word with Stacks. So, yeah, I mean, they're just trying to get ticket sales, you know, off to a good start. Big boot there by Thea. Thea on her feet. Thea going against the ropes, and Stacks tried to trip her. Joe Hendry coming round. Stacks and Joe Hendry are getting into it. Right now, Stacks on the edge of the ring. Roll up by Ariana Grace too. Kick out by Thea. Is this going to be the Kimura? The Kimura's in. And Ariana Grace taps. The Kimura does it for Thea Hale. And I'm expecting that to lead to a mixed tag. Ariana Grace is selling the Kimura. Okay, OTM. Okay, it's Chase U. Why can't they get out the car? Next time they see you, it's on site. That's pretty fun. That's pretty fun. They just tried to pull up on OTM, but they couldn't actually get out the Tesla. I don't know why. Is it known for being difficult to get out of? I know that on a Tesla, everything's kind of on that screen, isn't it? So perhaps he was like, I can't find the thing or something. I don't know, but that was good. Briggs is coming out now, yes. Daze, that was like the quickest match ever, said Jordynne. They didn't give it much time, did they? I must admit, though, I was surprised they had it in the opening spot. So I was surprised it got that. I mean, you know, it's a good position to be in, isn't it? Dun, dun, dun. Okay. We are underway then, well underway with this show. 20 minutes in. We've had our summit. We've had a women's match that we wasn't expecting. And now we've got the other match that we were expecting. This is going to be the Tavion Briggs match. So Josh Briggs versus Tavion Heights. Match number 2. Getting your thoughts for Thea against Ariane. It was so short. It's just not really too much to it, is there? It was fine. It was fine. Papa Shango called. He wants his score back, said Corey. Taker 1990 said, does WWE get to keep using Joe Hendry's music from when he was in TNA? Well, I believe it's his music. I would imagine. I mean, he created it. So I would imagine that it's his. So, yes, he has now officially joined the WWE roster. So that was news that was doing the rounds earlier today, that he is actually now part of the official WWE roster. He's been added to the NXT roster page on the WWE channel, web.com. So I think that means that he is now officially, that's it, done, signed, sealed, delivered. They usually give the first match some time, so it was a bit of a surprise how quick it was, says Brony. Josh Briggs got that score on the cheap at Temu, said Jordynne. Mayor Pete said, I believe in Daze, Hendry. There we go. It will be interesting to see and hear what the Culling have got to say, said Maddie. Yes, I agree. Why, Izzy, why? We've got that coming up, haven't we? That'll be a good segment. I think surely it leads to a match. Whether they get that in for Deadline, I'm not sure, but I would be expecting it. I think that's one of the most high-profile kind of stories that we've got right now, so it would make sense to do that match at Deadline. And that, of course, is this weekend. Sonny said, I'm going out tomorrow with my worker to get an Oracle deck. If I get enough money, maybe some Timmies. Sonny, hello. Hope you're well, buds. Well, there you go. Do you need another Oracle deck, Sonny? Do you? Do you? Maybe the answer's yes. Mayor Pete said, oh my God, that turnaround, it needs to be a GIF. Dr. Shala said, my friends made plans next Saturday, and I said no. Cena is the GOAT and is more important. If any wrestling fan goes out instead of watching Cena's last match, I just don't even know. I don't even know. I don't want to say, are you even a wrestling fan? But, I mean, we're in that sort of territory, aren't we? We're in that sort of territory. Okay, we are 17 seconds away. And we will be back with the show soon. So we might as well end the poll. Okay, talking of John Cena, here's a John Cena commercial. Okay, you lot said that was good 96. Just hearing what John's got to say. Don't forget, you can leave your feedback as well. We're trying to get 100 responses on our feedback form. Last time I checked, we were struggling a little bit, actually. We have now got... Okay, that's better. We're up to about 60 odd now, so that's better. So, yeah, it's 6 questions. And I actually would be really interested to get some feedback on this, genuinely. Because we are done with PLEs now. There are no more PLEs this year. So what was your favourite PLE of this year? What was the worst, your least favourite PLE match of this year? So what was the best, what was the worst? Who had the most undeserving championship reign ever? What's the funniest crowd chant? What's the worst gimmick in WWE history? Just something for you to think about. And we're looking for some more feedback for our Wrestle Feud game. So you can answer that, the quiz thing. The link is at the top. Okay, we're back. Here is Ava. Okay, Ricky and Oba contract signing coming up. 8-man tag coming up tonight. What is in the box? What is it? What was it? It was some black and it looked plasticky and it was all broken up. Someone sent Ava some in the post, but I don't know. I couldn't tell what it was. Days, I'm doing all right. I've got about 167 Oracle decks. Doesn't hurt to buy another one. Dude. That's a lot. Right now we've got Tavion and Josh Briggs. They're getting straight into it. Aubrey said it's Cody's watch. I couldn't tell, said Suzanne. Jennifer said, what was in the box? Corey said it was The Rock's finger. Oh, my God. Briggs, go away is the chant. Briggs, go away. Briggs, go away. Briggs has got that chain still, which he's been wearing in recent weeks. We've seen him use it in matches, and there's probably a real good chance he's going to use it again here. I think it's so stupid to wrestle in a chain that thick. You deserve to get choked. If I'm wrestling Briggs, I am getting my hand around the back of that chain, grabbing it, turning it, tightening it. Like that. And I'm going to try and do it where the ref can't see me. No, ooh, another big boot coming in there by Briggs. And again, Tavion, though, is on his feet. Tavion round the back, looking for a German. How are you, Days, my friend? Said Keegan. I'm doing well, thanks, buds. Doing good. Just enjoying a little bit of NXT. Rob said it's Gwyneth Paltrow's head. Oh, my God. Suzanne said I couldn't tell, and I'm wearing glasses. L. Meyer said it was a friendship bracelet. Oh, my God. We don't need to go back to those days. We don't need to go back to those days. Tavion going over and grabbing Briggs. Briggs 2 chains. Tavion is picking up, and look at the strength. Look at the strength. Picking up Briggs. Hurling him down. Tavion going at this crowd are really lively tonight. They're really lively tonight. Another shot coming in there by Briggs. Big boot coming in. Here is the picture. So, I don't know. I can't make that out at all. She just emptied the box out on the desk. And it was that. Are they petals? I don't think they are. It looks... I don't know. It made me wonder if it was a mask. You know, it made me wonder if it was something like that. I genuinely don't know. Well, hopefully we'll get an update with it as we continue with this match. Okay, Faye just said, Ava received a mysterious box. I wonder where this is going. No one knows because Wrestle Talk says this is what was inside. Sportskeeda said, sorry, what? Yeah, no one seems to know what it is at the moment. Big boot there by Briggs. It's from the Wyatts and her old leader, Joe Gacy. Oh, into the barricades. The barricade did just explode. Yeah, look at that. That barricade, normally you see like a panel go down. We've had like 2 panels go down and one of them even popped off. So there we go. Barricade exploding. People love those spots. I think we're going to stay with the action. This is an all-out brawl. So, shots coming down there by Tavion. I mean, it's been a pretty fun fight, this, actually. That barricade spot was really good. Different as well. Don't normally see that many panels go down. Tavion getting in the ring. Briggs coming over. Big boot to the midsection. Meat. That's what we've got here, innit? Meat. Kicks coming in there by Briggs. I mean, if they did take that kind of top level away, Briggs is someone that would rise up to that level. They really like him. They like his size as well. And they've been featuring him quite a bit. Obviously, he had that big program with Inamura. Tavion over against the ropes as Briggs comes in, looking to scoop up Tavion, slam him down. Tavion down at the moment. Briggs with an elbow drop there. Going for the cover. 2. Shoulder up. Daze, I'm thinking it might be the early signs of the Righteous coming in. Sean, how does that connect? What would that be? What would that mean? How does that connect? Trini's in the chat. Trini says, thank you for the prayers, lovelies. Hello, lovelies. I am much better. My BP is down. 127/110, but I'm still not allowed to leave yet. Hoping I can go home tomorrow. Stay safe and blessed. Trini, shout out to you. I'm sorry I didn't hear this yesterday. I heard it earlier, though. So, lovely to hear from you. Thank you for the update and sending nothing but positivity your way. Good thoughts, good vibes, good energy. Hoping you and your ass make a very, very speedy recovery. And I mean that. I really mean that. Tavion in there right now. Prayers for everyone. CM Punk's dog passed. So good vibes to everyone, says Broccoli S. That was such sad news. Brother Man said, I'm thinking of a sign to take to Dynamite. I don't know what to put on it, so I might put Wrestling Daze. brother man. I hope you have a good time at Dynamite, bud. Daze, I'm thinking it's a puzzle that Ava got. Okay. Tingling said, I think Schism are going to return. I just don't know what it is. So it makes it hard to know what it's teasing, doesn't it? Right now, we're coming back from commercial break. 34 minutes into the show as Tavion gets up to his feet, throwing in some shots to the midsection. Bang, big shot there. Against the ropes goes Tavion. Bang, slam down. Big splash. Josh Briggs. 1, 2. I like the fact they're selling. I hope he's selling. I mean, he's really holding his arm. So I hope that's not like a genuine issue. Oh, look at that. Into the barricade. Brutal, mate. Brutal. That barricade spot was really good. Some of the action we've had in ring has been really good. If that's selling, he's doing some really good selling. Nice, going down, working on the arm there. Briggs using the rope as leverage. Referee having a word. Yeah. He's trying to find different ways of putting Tavion away. Ooh, drops an elbow. This could go either way, man. I don't even know who's going to get the win in this. Shot coming into the midsection there by Tavion, trying to go upstairs. Over the other side, Tavion, duck underneath, against the ropes. Drop kick as Briggs goes down. Tavion trying to get back up to his feet. Tavion trying to get over. He goes into the corner. The pace isn't quite right at the moment, is it? Like, at the moment, it's a bit stop-start. We're not building and doing like bang, 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 bang. Big spot, 1, 2, 3. No, kicks out at 2. At the moment, it's still like, I do this, you do that. I do this, you do that. I feel like the pace of this should be much quicker if we are getting to the end of the match. I mean, I don't know. Over in the corner goes Tavion, back elbow there by Briggs. Briggs coming over, pushing away at Tavion, showing some disrespect. Now he's getting him again, hurling him over the other side. Briggs goes over with a back elbow. Tavion goes down again. The pace, slow. Throwing you in the corner. Back elbow. Few little slaps. Few words being exchanged. Now he's going to hurl him over the other side. Tavion surely is going to find a way of coming back. Gets out the way. Here we go. Speed it up. Take him over. Tavion goes back to the corner. Briggs down. Tavion looking out to the crowds. Tavion trying to find a way back in to the match. Charges in. Clothesline. Briggs goes down. Another clothesline. Briggs goes down. Grabs him. Briggs reverse. Tavion against the ropes. Tavion takes Briggs down. Gestures to the crowd. People are getting into it as there's a little more energy coming in. Bow, yeah. They just sort of, that was a bit messy. He came over. Briggs takes him down, and now I think we're starting to see that chain coming into the situation. Shot there by Tavion, though. Referee takes the chain. Tavion. Lovely. Okay. 1, 2. Foot on the rope. I don't think he would have got the 3 even if the ref was in position. Tavion shouldn't get too upset here. It's a boot to the back of the head, and Tavion goes down. The chain distraction thing, I think, is a bit underwhelming. The match, big clothesline. 1, 2, 3. I feel like that match, I don't know, man. It seemed to plod. Had lots of good moments in it. Some big, heavy-handed stuff. But it did seem very, I do that, you do that, I'll do that, you do that. There was a little moment where Tavion got a few things together, but not crazy about the chain spot. Well, do you know what? Let's see what you lot thought, shall we? What did you think of that match? I do think that Briggs is someone they are really interested in. His size and, you know, his work's good. But again, is he going to deliver you a 4-star match? 4-star plus? I don't know why he's having to go at these two guys in particular. Perhaps they'd been more vocal than others, but he just spent quite a bit of time going off on those two. Here's the Cullen. Here's the Cullen. Let's go. It's the Cullen. Commercial break. We're going to find out why, Izzy. Why? I think she always had it in for Tatum. She was just picking her time. That's what I think. I think this was always going to happen. But why now, Izzy? Why now? Daze, who we got winning the Women's Iron Survivor? I'm going to go Lola. I think she's due a championship. I'm going Sol Ruca. But I'm only going Sol Ruca because JC has only just got that belt back. So I don't know that she's about to drop it. So again, if that is correct, and obviously we're having to do some assumptions, but if that is correct that she's only just won it, so she's not going to lose it yet, then if Lola wins, that would mean Lola doesn't win the belt. I wonder if you have Sol and you do a Zarya thing where Zarya, you know, somehow stops Sol accidentally or on purpose from winning, and, you know, that then furthers that story. It keeps the belt on JC. Sol wins the Iron Survivor, which would make sense, which is a credible name. But then it also furthers that story. So I'm leaning Sol. Keegan said, fine, girl. I thank you for the positive and helping me. I appreciate it, says Keegan. Keegan, shout out to you. Suzanne said, what's with the Bozo Cullen having to say for themselves? What have they got to say? Brooklyn said, Izzy wants that belt. Tatum told Izzy they will never fight as long as she is champion. Yeah, good shout. Good shout. Randy said, I guess my boss cut overtime. Schism was still around. Hang on, no, I've got confused. Randy said, I guess my boss cut overtime. I like to work and buy figures. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Randy. Tingling said the Cullen against Schism would have been fun if Schism was still around. Billy said, I feel like they've lost their credibility after losing Tatum. Tatum made the group tolerable. Could you see Javon winning at Deadline? Well, I think he is the favourite, but again, I don't think Ricky loses his belt at New Year's Evil, which is, you know, in about a month's time. So 4 weeks' time. I don't think Ricky loses because he hasn't, again, he's not long had that belt. So if Javon wins, would that mean that he loses to Ricky? I'm thinking so, and I don't know if people want to see Javon lose another championship match. So for that reason, I would personally not have him win, which is why I'm looking at Dion Lennox, because I know that Dion Lennox is not a big name, and I know that he will be on the odds one of the underdogs. But if Ricky's not losing, then having Dion Lennox get that kind of opportunity could be really good for his development. And also the story you would be telling isn't Ricky versus Dion, it would be Ricky versus all of Dark State, wouldn't it? Because you know they would be at ringside, you know they would interfere, you know the numbers would be against Ricky, and it'd be a good spotlight for Dark State. Hopefully they could capitalize on the promo time and the exposure. I think we need to work and build them. So I think Dion being in that mix makes a lot of sense. And again, you get to New Year's Evil, Ricky overcomes Dark State, finds a way. Maybe some people come down and give him a helping hand. And so, you know, it's just good build for Dion, for Dart State. Hopefully it helps them. Hopefully it helps Dion. It keeps Ricky's title run going longer. But I know he won't be a favorite. I totally understand. Part of it is like, what would you book as well? And I don't know, man. I just don't really want to see Javon lose. I don't want to see Javon lose another title match. And I can't see Ricky losing at New Year's Evil. I think Leon Slater, there's a chance. At first, I dismissed him because he's a TNA talent. But if he loses to Ricky but looks really good, that could still really help Leon. And he hasn't suffered those same setbacks that Javon has. Javon's had a few title matches and lost. I don't really want to see it again. I don't think that would be Javon's crowning moment. I don't think it would. I mean, who knows? Maybe it would be. Maybe the plan would be have Javon win at Deadline and then put the belt on him at New Year's Evil. But I don't know that is the plan. It's just as likely that you don't win the title at New Year's Evil. So I do think the men's is very interesting. There's a few different directions that you could go. I don't think Miles Bourne gets it, and I don't think Joe Hendry gets it. I think I'd have Dion, Leon, and maybe Javon at number 3, just because he's going to be such a heavy favourite. Okay, here we go then. Here we go. We've got Izzy Dame in the ring. Okay, she's kind of gone straight into this promo, but quite quickly. I gave Tatum everything. No. Izzy's talking. Izzy's not working with the crowd here. I'm distracted that her hands are a different color to her face. I feel like there's two different things going on here. I feel like Izzy's come out and she's got the promo in her head that she wants to deliver. She's coming out and she's delivering it. And the crowd might as well not be there. There is no interaction with this crowd whatsoever. No acknowledgement of them whatsoever. She is just performing. She could do this thing in the back, couldn't she? I feel like there could be no crowd and she would be exactly the same. There could be a crowd. We could take everyone away and replace them with farmyard animals. This promo would be exactly the same. She just came out and went, look. I don't even know what the crowd are doing now. She's got a lot to say about Tatum. Tatum this, Tatum that. Tatum ignored me. She only became champ because I allowed her to. We want Tatum as the champ from the fans. One-on-one at Deadline. It was an Addams Family chant. Oh, hello, here's Tatum. She's on screen. She's been crying. Oh, she's in the culling. She's in the culling void. I don't know what I'll become without your hand on my shoulder. I'm going to have to make you feel all of my pain. That was great by Tatum. I think the promo itself from Izzy is okay. There were some moments in there that were good, but she just completely ignored the audience. It wouldn't have hurt for her to have told them to shut up and for it to have felt like there was a connection between the performer and the crowd when they just felt like they were just in completely different universes. She just acted like they were an inconvenience, like, you're getting in the way of my promo, and she was, like, just plowing forward with it regardless, you know? I mean, they're learning. It's developmental. I don't think you see that type of promo on the main roster. I think with more experience, you know, tell the crowd to shut up. With more experience, you take a second at the start and you listen and you gauge the reaction. And you may even say something like, so that's how you lot are feeling, is it? You think I'm the bad person, do you? And you sort of, do you know what I mean? You like play off them and then go into your pre-planned, you know, content. Instead, she came out and went, blah, blah, blah. We were just plowing forwards. We were like Mr. Plow, just plowing forwards. We was there, the crowd was there, and that was that. Very interesting segment, though. There was a couple of, I mean, look, her delivery, and she was not monotone, Izzy. I mean, there was definitely, you know, some nice delivery that was in there. It just, I found it very distracting at, like, you know, with what we've said, the things we've pointed out. I found that distracting. I couldn't get into the promo for that reason. I felt like I was watching a pre-rehearsed promo being performed. That's how it felt. I felt like I was watching like a play, rather than a from the heart promo coming out, you know. But I like, you know, that Tatum bit was great. She only popped up a little bit at the end, but she stole it for me. The emotion that was in that, where she's like, I'm going to have to make you feel all of my pain. Okay, we are at commercial break. Get in your thoughts. What do you think about the show so far? That's 53 minutes of this show done. We have got that match added to Deadline, which we thought we would. I still want my female Ren QCC, said Dominic. I want Ren. I want Kendal. I want Callie. I want Tyra May Steele. It was definitely hard to focus on that, says Dr. Lucha Lala. Steve said Tatum's out for blood. Izzy was too concerned with the words she had to say instead of playing with that crowd. They gave her lots to work with as well. Yes, they did. They did. Should be a good match, though. Good. Izzy is someone which I think we sort of forget a little bit about. because she is around, but is kind of, I don't know, it's weird. She's around, but she never really gets the spotlight, if you will. So this will be a great opportunity for her show what she can do when it comes to her matches. I think her delivery is okay, but yeah, I mean, just interact with the crowd a bit more, just make it feel a bit more natural. But her actual delivery of the content was quite good. Just break it up with some crowd interaction. Make it feel like it was fit in the environment rather than layered on top of the environment. And I think that could be a good development for her. In regards to the matches, Izzy matches, oh God, they're okay. But there's work to be done there. So I'm looking forward to seeing where we are now and seeing what she can deliver on Saturday. That is the match we were expecting, to be honest. With the NXT men's division, are we just going into a never-ending hamster wheel with guys like Tavion and Miles and Briggs? I don't see the main event material with Briggs. It's going on 5 years. Well, I think Briggs will be one of those guys at the top when that, top level kind of move on. I mean, part of it is that we haven't really had, when was the last men's call-ups? Probably Carmelo, was it? I think that a lot of us would agree that Oba, Trick, maybe even Javon, they don't need to be in NXT anymore. So I think once they go, then Briggs is going to be in one of those top positions. I think he'll be certainly one of those names that's around. I mean, he's got good size. I think they quite like his presentation. Whether they can find those missing bits or not, well, we'll have to wait and see. But, yeah, I mean, I think the only thing that's been kind of holding him back is that it's still quite crowded up there, isn't it? But, I mean, you could call up Ethan, Javon, Trick, Oba, maybe Ricky. I mean, if you're calling up Lash Legends, you can call up Ricky. So, I mean, you could call all of those up in 2026, and that next layer that's waiting to come through is Miles, is Josh Briggs. Those are the names that we're going to have to lean on. And, of course, we'll bring some people in. Okay, we are going over to the start of hour 2 right now. This is Fatal Influence in a 6-woman tag. We've got Kendal in action against Chantel Monroe tomorrow on Evolve. Evolve wasn't around last week, but it's back. Evolve is back. We're back, baby. Okay, Kendall's in the ring. Here comes Lola. Lola Vice. I think Soul is in it as well. Is it Soul? Everybody. Right. Tensions growing between Soul, Ruca, and Zarya. Zarya said she won't accompany Soul tonight as Soul wasn't by her side at Gold Rush. Tensions building. Okay. I love me some Lola, said Scottish Chris. Ninja said, have you seen the booze the fans gave WWE after Survivor Series? Personally, it's their fault for buying tickets. We looked during the member stream at 2 clips, and there could be a clip that I have not seen, but the 2 clips that I have seen, I don't think they were booing Survivor Series. I think they were booing the fact that Summit was teased between Roman and Cody, and it just ends, and we didn't get anything bigger than that, So I don't know that they were necessarily booing the show. I don't know that they left that show thinking it was rubbish, mid. Maybe they did. I'm certainly not defending it. I think I gave it like 6 at best. So I I think it was underwhelming, all things considered. Maybe they did leave the show feeling that way. But the 2 clips that I've seen of the booing seemed to me to be that people were quite engaged during the Roman, Cody having a few words with each other. Like, the silence, people are listening, they're paying attention. Then it ends, and it seems to me like disappointment that nothing big dramatic just went down, you know? So I don't know that those boos are a reflection of the event or just a reflection of that final moment with Roman and Cody. I don't want to be painting like incorrect pictures. So I genuinely don't know. I mean, all I can tell you is I watched it and I was underwhelmed with the show. But the 2 clips I've seen, I think, are more related to Roman Cody. If anyone else has seen a different clip, though, feel free to tag me in it. One that's, you know, seems to suggest more that it was the show people were upset with. Okay, we just got loads of people jumping around. It's got a bit more energy to it, hasn't it? A bit more pace. Ren Sinclair has come down. Obviously, she's great friends with... Look at that reaction by Ren. Big kick there by Lola. Ren was like, damn. Over in the corner goes Lainey Reed. So, yeah, she's good friends with Kendal. So she's come down. Another kick coming in. Lovely Soul Ruca with a standing moonsault. If someone doesn't do a Hitchhikers-themed entrance or ring gear at WrestleMania 42, I'm going to be disappointed, said V85. Right now, we've got a tag being made. I am going to miss him. He was better than Dirty Dom. There is a Funko for every show, movie, sport, singer, band. It's crazy, said Dr. Luchalala. Yeah, I heard they were in trouble, Funko. Sol Ruca with a... I think we've got a bit of a Mexican wave that's breaking out. Did we do the poll? Did we do the poll for the match? Did I just miss it? Or did I just not do it? Let me have a look. Yeah, I missed it. Thank God I did it. I did not write it down, but thankfully I have found it. And you lot said that that match was good 93. In-ring not delivering so far tonight on NXT. Oh, I'll tell you what, though, Kendal Gray. A pleasure to watch Kendal Gray. Big boot. Oba and Ricky contract signing coming up. Kendal in there with Lainey. Nice duck underneath. Looking for a suplex. Gets it. Nice takedown there by Kendal. Rolling JC over. And 2 count. She's all over her at the moment. She's taking JC down. JC trying to find a way of getting back up to her feet, but Kendal all over her. JC going over against the ropes. Gets Kendal off of her. Kendal coming over to the outsides. Big shot. Down goes Lainey. Blocks the shot there by JC. Kendal gets pulled out the ring by Fallon. Into the edge of the ring. She gets chucked back in. That was good by Lainey. That was good teamwork by Fatal Influence. Yeah, that's good teamwork. JC says, that's why we run NXT. It was good. That was some good teamwork. I tell you what, though, it took quite a bit to get the advantage back from Kendal. She was a real problem there for Fatal Influence. Kendal now in the corner, and this should be advantage Fatal Influence. Lainey Reed colliding into Kendal. Big kicks coming into the midsection. JC Jane working away there on Kendal. Kendal going down. JC with the boot right in the face of Kendal. Daze, if NXT loses Oba, Ricky, Ethan, Javon right now, that's a big core amount of the talent to lose and a lot of star power to replace. Yep. But again, like I said earlier, like NXT is the feeder for the main roster. If you've got to take that talent, take it. Because the Saudi deal, the ESPN deal, the USA Network deal, the Netflix deal, your main merch sales, your main ticket sales, like your main money drivers have got absolutely nothing to do with NXT. The Saudi deal is nothing to do with NXT. The ESPN deal is nothing to do with NXT. The Netflix deal is nothing to do with NXT. Apart from it just gets shown internationally, but they paid for Raw worldwide. So, you know, first and foremost, you have to get the main rosters right. You have to get your main roster sorted. And if you need Trick, Oba, Javon in order to achieve that, take them. Without a second's thought, take them. And then what you're left with in NXT, you know, if you need to pick up the phone to Triple H and say, look, can I have The Miz for a bit? If you're not using The Miz, can I use him? I'd like to use him at the top end of the card. I might even put the NXT Championship on him, give him a run. And, you know, that'll give me some, you know, we'll do some interesting stuff there. Can I have Finn Balor? Are you using Balor? Who are you not using? Who's not part of your creative plans at the moment that I can just borrow for a bit? Give me them for like 6 months. So I can take some main roster talent. I can get some people from TNA. I can get some people from AAA. I can build my stars. I can bring some people in from Evolve that I think are ready, like a Callie Armstrong. We're already moving with Kendal. I could bring Sean Legacy up. I could bring Jack Cartwheel in. I mean, you put Jack Cartwheel on this roster, many of you won't have seen him, but he'll grab your attention. You lose Javon Evans, I got a Jack Cartwheel coming through, right? So there are people that we can get from Evolve, that we can get from the main roster. We can plug those gaps. We can still make this a really fun show. Really good action, really interesting characters, and that's the challenge. That is going to be the challenge if you do take that. But first and foremost, for me, you make sure that main roster is right. Make sure that that is what's delivering, because that's where all your money's coming from. But it is true. I'm not wrong. I mean, it is going to be a blow, and it is going to need a bit of a rebuild. But I think people would understand that. A lot of people that watch NXT are pretty diehard WWE fans that want to see that next level coming through. And if they're not watching for that reason, they might be watching because they want to see some really good wrestling. Maybe they're not getting it from Raw and SmackDown. I think you can still deliver all those things. JC could go up, said Jennifer, but I think the main roster might swallow her. Randy said, I've turned off my ESPN till the Rumble. I'm going to save $32 for a month because we don't have no PLE. I think that's a good shout. Kick coming in there by JC. Okay, we're back from commercial break. Right now we have got Soul on the outside along with... Oof, lands on her feet. Lola. Kendal in the ring. She's trying to find a way of getting over to them. There we go. Roll through and she makes the tag to Lola. Lola's in. Kicks coming in. Hot tag was made. Bang. Pop, 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 pop. Lola dragging Lainey Reed in. Pop, 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 pop. Quick kicks. Laney's down in one corner. Fallon down in another. JC down in the other. Charging in. Bang. I don't really understand why you just sit there and take these shots, to be honest with you. I think that bit looks a bit silly. I mean, she gave them so much time to recover. But, I mean, there is a part of pro wrestling that you sort of have to just go with it. Oh, kick to the midsection. Sol Ruca scooping up Fallon. Shoulder breaker there by Sol 2. And in comes Laney. She makes the save. Kick going in there by JC. JC, super kick there by Soul. Love that sell by JC. She was like out on her feet. Before she could actually fall over, though, Soul grabbed her, chucked her out the ring. Soul Ruca goes over against the rope. I think this has been my favourite match tonight. Yeah, quite comfortably. Nice work there by Fallon. JC coming in. Laney has kind of fitted into this group quite well, actually, you know. Some of the tag work within this group's really quite good. Fatal Influence should really be winning this match. They are the proper team. Yeah, look, here's Kendal. Grey Grap showing off. Ren on the outside cheering on, but kick out there by Soul. Soul Snatcher! Off the ropes as well. It's so great she can hit that anywhere now. She used to only do it in the corner. But Soul Snatcher. And she gets it off the ropes. I think that's a real disappointing loss for Fatal Influence. They should be able to take on 3 girls and get the win. I mean, they are a proper group that train and work together. Soul Snatcher in all its glory. What's this? Kendal Gray just got laid out there by Zarya. Well, that's strange, isn't it? She just lays out Kendal Gray, but it looked like she was going for Soul. Now we've got Zarya and Soul like really arguing at each other. Zarya might have just split Kendal in 2. Soul pins JC is an interesting choice, isn't it? Soul pins JC. We got Javon and Ricky just talking at the moment. This is why you're the favourite to win at New Year's Evil. Okay. Is this new presentation for OTM? New graphics, and maybe new entrance music, so I don't remember this. OTM, I don't mind those graphics, actually. They look quite good. Don't mind those graphics. New OTM graphic. They're going to be taking on Chase U.
The next number.
Sol Ruca does get moved out the way. She did take that spear so well. Kendal Gray cut in half, mate. That's so weird, though, isn't it? I mean, that does make Zarya look a bit like a clown. She chose the perfect moment to finally attack Sol Ruca, and she failed. Apparently, it's now official. WWE has been WWE longer than it was WWF. I know which one I prefer. Do I actually know which one I prefer? I mean, it's probably still WWF. I mean, that is the Golden Era and the Attitude Era. It's Hulkamania. John Cena and all this Roman stuff has been good. Ruthless Aggression was good, but that's an interesting question, actually. But I've got to say I'm Team WWF over Team WWE. That's an interesting one. Let's ask that question. I bet most of you go WWE. You don't have those memories like I do. Ultimate Warrior, Macho Man, Stone Cold, most of The Rock's career. Yeah. The Attitude Era, a lot of people say it's their favorite era. That was WWF. Which team are you? Are you Team WWF or Team WWE? And let's not forget how bad 2025 has been. I'm not trying to sway you. I'm just saying 2025 is a WWE year, yeah? Right. Yeah, you lot enjoyed that last match. You've scored that last match great. 73. Boom. Both are less than WWF, said Stone. Let's go. That would... I don't even know what years that was from, to be honest. I mean, that was before WWF. It was the one just before. I think, is that 63? But I think, no, it was Capital at that point. So I don't think it was 63. So I can't remember when that actually started. That changed. Is that the early 70s? It's definitely 70s, but I don't know if it includes 60s. Both have got their pros and their cons, says James. That is true, actually. Because, you know, WWE, you've got 2019, you've got pandemic, you got 2025. You can't tell me the pandemic was great. We all hated that. So, you know, what are you praising? You're praising Bloodline. You're praising John Cena. You know, you're praising Daniel Bryan. You're praising the rise of women's wrestling. I mean, there are some big, big things to celebrate with WWE. WWF, you're celebrating the Attitude Era. You're celebrating Hulkamania. You're celebrating the birth of WrestleMania. But then within that, you have got the new generation. That wasn't very good. You know, you got to say as well, we didn't have as many shows, did we, in the 80s? So we haven't got all that wealth of shows that we do now. There's so much more content with WWE compared to WWF. So yeah, it is true. Both do have their pros and their cons. The rise of women's wrestling has been incredible, though. That really is something special. He was the Batman to my Joker, says CM Punk. So just a little look at John Cena and CM Punk. The last time is now. Do you know, you don't really think about it, but the amount of promotion for that John Cena's last match, I mean, it's on every show all the time, isn't it? Okay, here's Dion. Okay, so Saquon has got one of the belts. Osiris has got the other. That was a really good impression by Saquon. The ruler has arrived. Clearly, John Cena thinks otherwise. Dion's got a great look. You've come a long way, Dion. Oba telling Dion, don't get ahead of yourself. Dion saying I'm right where I need to be. Let's go, man. Let's invest in Dion. He looks great. Chase U are here. They're locked in. OTM against Chase U coming up. Leon has potential show. I like that exchange, said Pekera. Benny said, I think the jig is up. You're the NXT anonymous guy. You're on the internet, so it just seems to fit, says Benny. Oh, straight out the gate. Chase U coming over, and we are underway. OTM. Battling away with Chase U. Daze, have we heard any news on Tony D? Roster call up or staying in NXT? Only that he was spotted at the Performance Center and that he's been, I think, at some of these shows, just, you know, in the background. Not on the episode. I mean, like, you know, behind the camera, just watch him. So I don't know what's happening there. No words, but no sign of a call up or anything. No word of a call up. And apparently he's still just been around the Performance Center. Big boot coming in. We are underway with this match. Oof. Tab being made. Bronco getting in the ring. Another shot coming in. Another big boot coming in. I think Price and Nima are definitely a force, says Corey. Okay, so it's pretty standard stuff. Oh, lovely tag, hot tag being made. Kale Dixon is in. Connor's tagging out. We've got about 35 minutes left to go in this week's episodes. Ah! Look at that. Look at that, Sal. Did you see his facial expression? Ah, big boot coming in. Lucian Price. Yeah, that's shifted the momentum. Right, that is tough. I'd probably go WWF, but there has been some banger stuff from this era, like Bloodline, Sammy Uso, Cena, Bray. Bray's a big one, innit? I think Imaginal Funhouse and Bray, that's a big one for but then you've got to say the bulk of The Undertaker's career, the bulk, I don't think is unfair to say, is with WWF. When he, like, debuts and is, you know, think about that Hell in a Cell match with Mankind, one of the most watched matches, one of the WWE Universe's favorite ever matches. That was 98. That's WWF. That's Az. We've got that one. Oh, double knees. But then Shawn Undertaker, which is my favorite match. That's WWE. It is tough. I do agree. And at the moment, it's very close. It's 60-40, and we've had 100 votes. Jared said, damn, me and Daze miss bra and panty match it. Yes, that's another good reason to vote WWF. Nudity. Now we get excited if there's a nip slip, but back in the day, there used to be a bit more than that, let me tell you. That's another point for Team WWF. we all remember Jacqueline, and we all remember the cats, don't we? Big boot coming in, and again, Chase U working well together. Could we see Zarya against Soul at Deadline, said Taker 1990? Well, it depends how it goes, to be honest. I mean, they were arguing at each other. It was a weird way, I thought, to get to that kind of, I don't know. I mean, is that a turn by Zarya? There's definitely some answers that are needed. I feel like it might be a bit soon to get to a match this weekend because we need to know what was happening. Okay, right now, bang. OTM look like they're going to get the win, and they do. OTM pick up the victory in a bit of a nothing match. It was okay. I don't know. You know, it was okay. Okay, look at that. 58-42. And I must admit, I'm very surprised. I thought WWE would absolutely storm it. Thought WWE would run away with it. But it was WWE that came out second best. WWF just pipping it. But I don't know. We get more votes on that. That could go anyway, honestly. I think what we can take from it is that it seems to be quite close. Okay, here's Ethan. Ethan's leaving. Much deserved night off. Ava tells Ethan he's due another title defense. Oh my God, he's in the car. Are you not going to call the cops? What do you want me to say? That a reptile stole your car? Okay, that was pretty good. Mr. Iguana was in the back of Ethan's car, and just a fun little segment there. I've always had her back. She can't say the same. That is a message from Zarya. That is a message from Zarya. Zarya's angry. I mean, I think she was going for... I think she was trying for Soul. And here, look, what is going on? Was Zarya going after Soul or Kendal? Zarya responding with an angry face. I've always had her back, but she can't say the same, says Zarya. So... there we go. We've had a few interesting moments. But this one, such a weird way to kind of get to this sort of split. If you told me, like, come up with 5 different ways to have Zarya and Sol Ruca finally kind of come to blows, I mean, at no point would I say have Zarya try to spear Sol but miss her. I mean, I don't know, man. That's a bit weird. I mean, it sort of brings Kendal into this story. I don't know why. I don't know why you would want to bring Kendal into this story. It feels like it brings her in because she can't be happy about being splitting off. So it feels like you're bringing Ren and Kendal in. And it feels like it makes Zarya look a little bit ineffective. Like she could have struck at any time. She chose that moment as being the perfect moment and she ballsed it up. So, I don't know. It's an interesting story because it is definitely going down a road I would not go down. And as a result, it's like, where's this going? Like, and now it feels like, yeah, that was it. She's turned on her. That was it. That was, you didn't even save it for like the end of the show. Imagine if Sol Ruca was in the ring, her arm raised because she just won the match with Kendal and everything. And then from behind, boom, Zarya spears her from behind. Sol goes down. Zarya looks at the other two. They're like, we don't want no part of this. Like, this ain't nothing to do with us. Zarya goes over, grabs Sol Ruca by the hair. And it's like, did you think I was going to put up with this level of disrespect? Do you think this was going to be acceptable? Something like this. Spit in her face. Deadline. Something like that. You know, that's what you'd expect, isn't it? That's what I would expect. Not like Zarya goes for a spear and misses. But it seems like the turn might have happened. So can't really judge it until we actually get to it fully plays out, you know. Okay, we're back from commercial break. Let's get the score, shall we? OTM versus Chase U. 2, 5, 79, 14. Good. 98. Okay. Oh, Shiloh's back. People love Shiloh. He tried Raccoon. He crashed. He must just have lots of real life stories. He became one with the earth. He's Captain Planet. Could you imagine if I was eaten by wolves? So we're just seeing him and Undertaker and the work that had gone down on LFG. I gotta find my bleach. Corey Graves says, is Shiloh Hill on some sort of watch list? I mean, he's a very interesting person to listen to because he's got lots of stories and he seems very unhinged. So you can understand why people are so excited for him coming in. I don't know when he's going to arrive, though. Oh, there we go. Ethan Page. Mr. Iguana is the championship match that's been added to Deadline. So Ethan Page taking on Mr. Iguana. Izzy is going to be taking on Tatum. Ricky is going to be taking on Oba. And we've got those 2 Iron Survivor Challenge matches. Carmen, hello. Carmen said, I didn't attend Super Wrestlers this past Sunday because they could have been bad snowy road conditions, but I would have gone. Carmen, I hope you're doing well, buds. It's many people's favorite time of the week. It's Carmen Live time. Wrestling fan said Shiloh could play a great disturbing character. Ninja said he's entertaining, to be fair. Jordynne said Shiloh's giving me Bray Wyatt vibes. Matt Pete said Shiloh is a smart guy. He went to a top school in the US. Okay, Joe Hendry is coming out. This is 8-man tag matches, and this is Dark State taking on the 4 guys. Oh, I wondered what he was on about then. Okay, Joe in the ring, Javon, Leon, and who's the other person in this team? Shiloh is the guy you run into that seems cool, and the more you talk to him, the more it sounds like he wants to wear your skin as a suit. The Hib said I wasn't even born in 1984. Here's Leon. It's Miles, in it? I just remembered. Nice. Have you best moments of the Attitude Era, like crazy matches or Stone Cold's aiming the toy gun at Vince, says Leyland. Favorite moment of the Attitude? I mean, I was always a big fan of Stone Cold driving in like the beer truck. You know, those kind of big OMG type moments. I mean, Kurt Angle with the milk truck was amazing as well, and he was like hosing down with all of that. Like, I really do. I love those moments. I mean, obviously the moment where like got WCW and we're doing the simulcast, like that's mental. I mean, that is just mental. That's like a true moment in wrestling history. I mean, could you imagine if that happened now with AEW? That we had someone over on AEW and that Tony had just sold AEW to, like, you know, Nick Khan, and Nick Khan was over there and we did a simulcast, and it's so unfathomable, you know? It's kind of crazy to think that that actually happened. That is what we did on the last WCW show. So that's, you know, a very, very special moment in wrestling history. And I think that's the thing with that, though, is that it kind of blends real life, obviously, with, you know, and the excitement about, oh my God, WWE own WCW. Like, are we going to do a big invasion? And I mean, that was the chatter at the time. And of course, yes, we do. We do the big invasion angle, which we know was sucked and was not very good. But yeah, those are like the ones that kind of come to my mind first of all. But the gun where he fires it and the little thing comes out saying bang. You know, that whole McMahon Austin thing was really, really good. But I think in regards to moments, those are the ones that kind of come to my mind. What about the ruthless aggression? Shouldn't that give it... HLA, says Penny. Shouldn't that give it the advantage? Well, it's definitely a point, but it never quite went as far as, the cat getting her boobs out. So, I'd say it was a moment that teased, but WWF had many moments that teased. Daze, we need it in your house in 2026, said Black Onyx. Who has checked out Maven and Stevie Richards' YouTube channels? I'd imagine everyone has seen clips from their channels by this point. I spent a lot of time in detention because of D-Generation X. Days, I went to the Maria Reina Center in Indiana to see ARW Pro this past Wednesday for Black and Blue Wednesday. It's their biggest event of the year. Who won the main event, Carmen? Who won the main event? That's what we need to know. Black and Blue Wednesday. ARW Pros. WrestleMania. Held on a Wednesday. Like 8 million people would watch each week, said Randy. It was crazy, wasn't it? I mean, it was part of pop culture. I feel like it still gets mentioned now, but whenever you hear a lot of people talk about wrestling, they tend to talk about Stone Colds, Kane, Undertaker, Triple H, The Rock. They talk about the Attitude Era because at that time it was just front and center. Like people were tuning in and watching it like it was one of the biggest things going. I mean, it was just absolutely at its peak. And there's not really anything after that that can come close. I mean, we have a really good moment with Cena and The Rock, WrestleMania 28, 29, but the TV ratings on Attitude Era numbers. But, that I think is the most viewed WrestleMania, or certainly was. I think it's been replaced now. I think the recent WrestleManias have done quite well, but 28, 29, 28 in particular was a record breaker. And so, yeah, I mean, there was some good stuff, but yeah, there's, lots of, I think what I'm really encouraged by is if we was to ask, more people, I don't have much doubt that that would get even closer or that WWE would even take the lead, right? But I'm just pleased to see that there's still a lot of love for WWF and that era or that time period is not, as time goes by, just getting sort of lost to history. I think it's great that actually we can ask and people go, oh man, both eras have been really good. Both have had pros and cons, I think it's great that it's that close. I really thought we would do that poll. It'd be like 80-20 WWE wins. So it's just great to know there's still so much love for, a period that means so much to me, because that's when I got into it, was WWF. I'm sure a good chunk of you probably got into it when it was WWF as well. So I think the truth is lots to celebrate about both. That's, that's the truth. Okay, Dark State have made their way down. Big Time said, I think WWE still clinging onto iShow speeds comes off as a bit desperate. The one-offs are always fun, like Rumble or Mania, but now they're reaching. Well, I don't know if that was them or him. I mean, he's got a show called Speed Goes Pro where he tries to do things as a professional. One of the episodes was him going to WWE. I genuinely don't know if that was him sitting down going, right, what do I want these episodes to be about? Or if that was WWE going, listen, can we be one of the episodes? I don't know. So I can't really throw too much shade at WWE because I don't know who it was. I think he really enjoyed his time. I think he enjoyed his time. And I think he kind of wants to right a bit of a wrong with him being, humiliated. So I could believe he's looking at Logan thinking, yeah, I could get in there and do that. That is the downside, to be honest, with having the celebrities coming in and presenting them so well, is other celebrities look at it and go, well, if he can do that, I can do that. If Logan's doing that, you know, I'm athletic. I've got some agility. I could do that. And so, you know, it just never ends. We are underway with our main event. It is, we got 16 minutes left, and it is an 8-man tag. 8-man tag. We do still have our contract signing. This ain't going to be very long. It looks like it's actually going to be backstage. So it looks like it's going to be like a bit of just a minute or so where they just have a few final words with each other. We believe is the chance. Saquon coming over. Joe Hendry round the back. Nice hip toss there. Saquon goes down. Joe grabbing Saquon. Looking for a net breaker, and he gets it. 1, 2. Kick out there by Saquon. Joe has got Saquon, and he's going to look for a... No joy. Saquon goes back. Tag being made. Kick coming in. Cutler in there. Side headlock at the moment. Going back against the ropes. Okay, Leon is in the ring. It's always good to see Leon in there, mixing it up. Tag being made. In comes Javon. The young OG. The young OG. Javon in there, stomping Cutler down. 2. Shoulder up. Say no to technology. You acknowledge Roman, says Niall. Hello, say no to technology. I hope you're well. Don't even get me started with the Diabetes Family Costco guy, Boom. WrestleRant's not a fan. Not a fan of the Rizzler. Big Boom AJ. And the other one. No worries. Say no to technology. Big Time said one of the biggest tropes with watching Raw is almost every backstage GM segment is wrestlers approaching Pierce for title shots and then him making it official. It's very repetitive. I hear that. I hear that. Javon on the top rope, taking over Dion. Drop kick there by Javon. Daze, it was marvelous. Donovan Marcellus defeated the now former ARW Pro champ Greg Glover and became the new champ. Well, there we go. Marvelous Donovan. Marvelous Donovan Marcellus. Marvelous Donovan Marcellus. Is that the name? Not sure he'd keep that if he came to WWE. Shouldn't he be like Dangerous Donovan? Don't you normally play it off the first name? Marvelous Donovan. Dangerous Donovan. Deadly Donovan. Disturbed Donovan. Disturbing Donovan. Oh, this thing has broken down. Zeta Steele has appeared on Ring of Honor tonight. So she'll likely pass up the WWE ID because she did get an offer from AEW. Something to learn from if you're WWE. Remember, AEW Dark was a scouting place for WWE. There's not much you can do, is there? I mean, if you sign someone to a WWE ID contract and they come to the end of that contract and you want to renegotiate it, they can choose to go elsewhere. Not much you can do, really. It is gonna happen. It's just a shame that she was in the system and she decided that she didn't fancy going through NXT and following that path. Instead, you know, she, I don't know, decided that Ring of Honor was better for her. So, Zeta Steel was likely seen by AEW through WWE ID. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. What do you do about it? Nothing. What can you do? I mean, you sign people. You're only going to sign so many people to the Performance Center. So outside of that, you sign people that you like, that are prospects, bring them into Evolve, you work with them, and then, you know, you sign them to a proper deal. I mean, it would be pretty reckless to sign loads of people to proper deal straight away, wouldn't it? I mean, you're going to release a lot of people if you do that, because you're just signing everyone to NXT deals. You can't sign everyone. So, you know, you've got the people that you want to work with, and then you've got the people that you think look really good and you're interested. And, you know, the hope, I think, was that you sign them to WWE ID deals, get them to the Performance Center, showcase them on Evolve, and then, you know, hopefully if you turn around and go, listen, we like you, we'd like to bring you in on a Performance Center deal, that they do that. But they're going to have the option to leave at that point. But WWE didn't showcase Zeta that much. She was only on Evolve. I mean, Evolve gets 40,000 views on YouTube. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, maybe if you need to be careful in, you know, don't use Zeta on NXT if she's under a WWE ID thing, because she could always leave. So you don't want to showcase them too much. But it's going to happen. I'm not worried about that. What is Camille? Who is Mercedes? Don't know. We don't talk AEW. We're not interested. She was in NWA anyway, Camille, but I don't know what they're doing with her now. Right now we got Dion putting a guillotine on. NXT feel like they got too many mouths to feed because SmackDown needs depth whilst NXT is full. If you don't make room, some people will start drowning, says Big Time. Mayor Pete said, are we going to be buying yourself the LJM figures? No. Okay, I think we're up to date. Right now we've got Javon in the corner. Javon goes down to his knees. Shot coming in there by Javon. Randy said the Jazzwares Vault has got Jericho, Matt Cardona. Right now, going over. Lovely work there by Javon. Saquon up on his feet. How long we got? 8 minutes. Javon makes the tag. Joe Hendry comes in. Joe Hendry exploding in there. Saquon coming over. He makes the tag. Dion gets in the ring. Saquon trying to choke out Joe. Dark State working hard here, trying to get the advantage. We believe chants ringing out. But the now ARW Pro Tag Champs, the program, lost their titles. Damn it. Carmen, thank you. Right now we got clothesline. Joe Hendry goes down. Osiris going for the cover. Kick out there by Joe. Over in the corner goes Joe. Joe goes down. And again, Joe goes down. Osiris in control. He's got a good size to him, hasn't he? Osiris. This is a bad NXT. Well, I gotta admit, this match hasn't grabbed me. And so far, Good 96, good 95, great 73. You lot did enjoy Fatal Influence match. Good 98. And now this match is, I don't know, this one just isn't grabbing me. I don't really know why. Kick out by Joe. I think Dark State aren't very good, said Akeem. Jennifer said, this one's not as good as the others. No, if someone hadn't watched NXT, I wouldn't say watch this. I think there's been some moments. That Fatal Influence match, Kendal, Lola, Soul, you know, the Zarya moment. I mean, you know, there's definitely been moments. But it is a go home. Right now, we got Dion with a guillotine. Joe trying to get... Oh, look at that suplex. Joe reaching out, trying to make the tag. Tag being made. Ah, oh, lovely kick there by Leon. A big drop kick. Leon exploding in. This is what we need. We needed a bit of Leon. Coming in. Yeah. Ah, oh, lovely work. Lovely work. Lovely work. Yeah. Charging over. He's got Osiris. Osiris. Handspring goes up. Ooh, Dark State. Drive him down. 1, 2. Oh, kick out by Leon. Kick out by Leon. We've still got the contract signing to come. Still got the contract signing. Dates, the only title that didn't change hands was the ARW Pro Indiana State Championship. That's held by the sharpshooter, James Creed. Love that. The long-lost Creed brother. To the outside, tab being made. Here's Javon's super kick. Osiris goes down. Jesus! Saquon and Javon go flying over that commentary table. Blumming hell. Oh my God. It's like a video game. Dudes. The young OG. Like, okay, Leon, hold my beer. Big air by Javon. Oh, mate. Jesus Christ. Call him up. Get him up. This is the kind of excitement we need on Raw and SmackDown. Mate, he was just like, flipping, flew over there. Now we're flying in the ring. He gets caught by the big man. Lands on his feet. Bah! Into a cutter. Javon goes up. Top rope. Monster! Jesus. Cutler trying to make the save. And all of Dark State come in. Wow. Young OG can fly. Dude, we need some replays. We need some flipping replays. Because this was sick. Some of the stuff that we just saw was absolutely incredible from Javon. Fall away slam there by Joe. Kip up by Joe. Clothesline. We've only got 3 minutes to go. Big shots coming in. This match has finally grabbed me. I have been grabbed. It is official. Javon against the ropes. Boom! Down he goes. Miles, but I haven't seen Miles Bourne. Where the flip's Miles Bourne been? Has it been in this match at all? Miles. One, two. Why didn't they stop him from getting the advantage? Maybe I'm missing something on that. I'm not sure. I probably am. Miles gets the tag and gets the thing, but why didn't they stop him from getting the pin? Miles gets the advantage. Here's Ober and Ricky. Ending to that match was good. I think I've missed something on it. The person that gets the pin gets the advantage. So why did Leon and Javon just stand there and allow Miles to get the pin and the advantage? Isn't it in their advantage to stop him? Guess what? Okay, contract signed. Perfect. The men's title match is going to open the show. So there we go. The show opener will be the championship match. Ricky is always spitting fire. Jordynne said, Javon just called Miles. He said, what are you doing, you a-hole? Yeah, I really think I've missed something with that. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's not a big deal. But the person that got the pin got to choose what number they enter the match in. So Miles gets the pin, so he gets to choose now. So that means that all the others are at a slight disadvantage because Miles can choose whichever number he wants. It's not a big disadvantage, though, is it, to be honest? But, I don't know. I mean, they just stood and watched as he got the pin. I'm surprised they didn't jump in and stop him. But, of course, time-wise, we can't really afford for them to do that. So, I don't know. It's tricky, that, isn't it? Tricky. Tricky. That was the quickest contract signing, said Jordynne. Did anyone else notice the TV playing The Bridge that Tony goes to? Oh, really? That's fun. If there was a little summit in the background. Little summit was there. Where was that? Was that during the contract signing? Don't know that anyone's picked up on that, to be honest. Yeah, not a go-home episode, isn't it? I mean, we know the show this Saturday is going to be decent. It's a fun show. So I'm still optimistic for Saturday. But I think this episode of NXT was just a little bit... just a little bit there, really. Just a little bit there. It had its moments. Oba has got that exact Hulk Hogan 80s builds. Daze, I've got a question. What does OTM stand for? Out the mud, isn't it? Out the mud? Something like that? It's something to do with them coming out of the mud, rising up from the grit, from the grime. Something along those lines. Kyle said, yes, watch it back. It's on the TV behind, says Kyle. Okay. Interesting. I think people will do that. I can tell you that no one on my feed has got any clip of it. So I think you've done well to spot that. Big Time said, I'm going to give NXT a pass this week. It felt like a typical go-home show. But they are coming off of Gold Rush, yes. Yes, yep. No complaints from me. I'm still looking forward to this weekend. I just think that if you didn't normally watch NXT and you did tune into this one, I could understand you being like, what's all the hype about? Is this is NXT, is it? And it's like, yeah, this wasn't really the week to watch, to be honest. 7. It was fine, says Mayor Pete. Stay safe out there. Yep. Big Time said, I think the storylines need to get reset. Okay, right. Well, we're done. There we go. That was NXT. I'm going to go and work on Unseen because, we didn't get a chance to do one yesterday and the folders are pretty full, so I need to go and work on that. So appreciate everyone joining us and hope you got something from this show. We'll be back around tomorrow for a little bit of Evolve, but obviously our sights are set on Saturday for NXT Deadline. So thanks for watching. Appreciate it. I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.